shine wherever we go. We shine wherever we go. We shine wherever we go. We shine wherever we go. Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios. Alongside Tucson One, my name is Herb Howard. We get together right here with you all each and every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. to discuss issues impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, and how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues with the intention of finding the best ways to overcome them. Again, overcome them as individuals, but more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. Greatly, greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We do kindly ask you, please take a quick second to share the broadcast by clicking on the little arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Share it to your personal page. Share the broadcast even within your personal network. Anyone that you think could add value to or find value in this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest on a glorious, glorious Tuesday, and it continues to get better and better and better. I am having a blast since I've been at the studio today, too, man. Again, my name is Herb. His name is Tou. What's happening, good brother?
I'm good. Family, blessed and highly favored. How about yourself?
If I was doing any better, I'd sell myself. I was literally just outside the studio on my knees thanking God for how good he has been to me today specifically. Was I not?
Yeah, but you're a hypocrite, right?
In what way?
Because that was some bullshit.
What are you talking about? I was dead-ass grateful to God for that.
I know you were, for the goddamn insanity that was about to ensue inside the studio.
Listen,
you should never thank God for insanity.
The studio is a wonderful place where amazing things happen at any given moment.
Obviously.
We was just sitting in there chilling, doing some pre-show production, and then, you know, it got wildly entertaining in a heartbeat.
As soon as a specific guest came in, huh?
Hey, Maze, Man Crush Maze, fam.
Man Crush Maze.
Man Crush Maze is the hashtag. Y'all make sure y'all hop in Maze's personal Facebook page and say,
shout out Man Crush Maze.
Man Crush Maze. Hilarious.
It is funny.
But what was I supposed to
Maze
do?
is getting offended, though, right? It's funny from us.
That's why it's funny.
It's offensive from the other person.
I understand it completely. I'm not saying he shouldn't be offended. I understand the offense taken 100%.
Y'all gotta understand, Herb is the ultimate instigator.
Hey man, listen. If it's gonna be happening anyway, I may as well gas it a little bit. I may as well just gas it a little bit and see just how funny it could be. I really think that every single time I laugh, God sent me like a little funny. Like, hey, look at this, bro. And so I laugh. Like I don't pass up on laughs, G.
I see, brother. I see. But don't get nobody in trouble just to get a laugh.
I didn't do it, bro. Like it already. That's what I'm saying. If it's already happening,
ain't that some shit? That's just like an Aries. I didn't do it.
If it's already,
you pushing the gas, but you ain't do it,
bro. No,
you're not a participant in doing it.
No, man. I am a mere observer and appreciator. I am an interested and entertained spectator of what is happening.
It be y'all to get motherfuckers sent to jail.
What comes up after that has nothing to do with me, bro.
Okay.
Nothing to do with me. So, you know, shout out to the man for continuing to be abundant in his blessings upon me with laughter and joy each and every day. I am grateful. I am appreciative.
Who is Mama Lori here talking about hello husband on the comments too?
Wait, come again, say what?
It's getting crazy in here already.
Who we got to block? Who we got to block? Let me find out right now. Gardis.
Gardis in here on your mama.
Hey, Gardis. Hey, yo. Hey, Gardis. Let's set some rules.
See,
here.
God is bringing in funny again. Right for you.
Listen, that's okay. It's okay. We gonna set some boundaries around this camp. Okay, it ain't a whole lot of rules to. I say what I said. Rule number 1:
don't holler at mama.
Don't holler at my mama. Okay. Rule number 2: refer to rule number 1. All right. The hell is going on around this camp? Carter's gonna get blocked.
That's hilarious.
You've been in the family for a long time. I wouldn't even feel good about having to block you, but things have to happen.
That's so funny, man. That is so funny, man.
Hey, man. Anyhow, we got a lot of things we want to get into today, man. The vaccine conversation continued. It was a phenomenal conversation on the collective conversation. Shout out to Brother Sadiq and Sister Cassiopeia for that. They had an opportunity to speak with Dr. Terry Mason, who, in my opinion, is the premier thought leader and expert in all things black health in Cook County. And so it's good to see Dr. Terry Mason be on the broadcast and have that conversation with him. He was making the case for why we should not be so skeptical or so fearful of the COVID-19 vaccination. He was kind of walking through what the process looks like, what its intention is, and what it is there to do. And again, it is my personal opinion that he is the premier person to be speaking on anything black health. I love to talk to Dr. Terry Mason. I love to learn from him. I think he's a great, great dude. I ain't taking that shit.
I felt left out though, man. I wasn't hip to who Terry Mason was.
That surprises the hell out of me. When you said you don't know Dr. Terry Mason,
that's kind of on me because I didn't know who Dr. Terry Mason was.
I'm literally surprised.
So I'm gonna say this much though, like I am the standard in regards to black male masculinity, right? And I mean that in the sense that I've avoided doctors for the vast majority of my life.
Oh my God!
Some got to be there. They're falling off for me to go to the doctor. I'm trying to change that behavior, but I definitely got that natural, man. I don't really rock with the medical field in general. It's funny. You ride past one of them buildings and you start to read and it says the art of medicine, and you realize that shit ain't a science, and you be like, yeah.
I'm sure there playing around with stuff. Yeah, maybe this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that.
Splash of salt here. You know what I mean? Splash of pepper here.
Right.
Fuck all that. I ain't no recipe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I've never been a fan of it, man. I'm just not that. I can trust people with a lot of things, right? I can trust people to a certain level, but you talk about this life and death and just your intentions and your motives, and you talk about an industry that is based on drug dealing. There's just not a lot of integrity within such a business, and for it to be as critical of a thing as people's health, I just don't rock with it, man. So as much as I can do natural remedies and get your checkups and all that, whatever, but I'm just not really for it, man. I'm not really.
Man, up until very recently. Just with my family history, I'm not gonna lie, I was like this imminent fear of that doctor's office. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I really was living by the philosophy, like I don't need to know. I just fall out in the street. I'm okay with that. I'm much better with that.
Ignorance is bliss, guys.
Ignorance really is bliss. Right? And I leverage that. And I
don't got
like
cancer until you diagnose me with it.
That's right. I don't get that shit. But I think about that a lot, and I say to myself that I lived in that ignorant space for a very long time.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I judge motherfuckers for operating like that in regards to like politics. You know what I mean? So yeah, I had to come to terms with that, man. So I've been going to the doctor for like the last year and a half on my own accord. You know what I mean? Which is some shit that don't.
Good. I'm good, man. I'm proud of you. Usually, when I ended up in the doctor's office or something, it was like after it's something that's a problem. I just had my first surgery this year, but just like if I'm there, I am like excruciatingly like. Something
wrong,
painful,
man.
Right?
Let me tell you, I know we about to go to break, but look, I had my lung collapsed, right, a few years back. And I did like this 30-day fast, 40-day fast, right? And I'm talking about fast for real. Like I wasn't eating nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that really wasn't how you were supposed to do it. I just was ignorant. You know what I mean? So it got to a point, man, I was down like 30, 40 pounds. It was like ridiculous. Like I don't want to say ridiculous, but I lost a lot of weight very fast. Because I legitimately wasn't putting nothing in my body. And it was a competition too, right?
Test your work.
Right. So it was a competition against me and my god brother. And he's out of New York. But he's used to doing this shit. So he understands eating raw. He understands the vitamins and stuff. I just stopped eating. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to beat you.
Right.
And I was dedicated to beating him. And one day, man, I was in the crib. And I was in the mirror and I was like stretching because I felt like, like I had gas or something. Like my ribs was kind of like, felt like they were stuck together. And my mouth was open and I was like stretching in the mirror. And every time I would go to the right, it would blow like you would hear like if you blew on tight, like a pop bottle. The bottle pop, like, ooh, like that would just come out of my mouth, right?
Wow.
So my dumb ass, I'm in there making beats. I was like, ooh,
So you,
I'm like, man, what the fuck is this?
look, I'm Dougie Fresh.
Right? Like I'm making beats out of the damn stretches, right? So I still ain't
Fuck
thought.
how abnormal it is.
Look, this how dumb I am. I still
It's a
ain't,
gift from God.
I still ain't thought nothing else of it. Like I was like, oh, that's wild.
Oh, my
You right?
God.
So I was like, man, I'm tired though. My body was feeling tired. So I was like, let me lay down for a little while. And then all of a sudden I started having these like extreme spells of hot or these extreme spells of being cold.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, something that this shit ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I was like, nah, this shit really ain't right. You know what I mean? So I'm naked in the bed, but I'm hot
you
as
freezing
hell.
and
You know what I'm
cold.
saying?
Right.
Yeah, it's like all that type of shit. So I got up, went to the emergency room, and this again is something I don't do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So my old lady calls me, just happenstance. She's like, where you at? I'm like, I'm in the doctor's office. At the time, she was like working in Schaumburg. Now she knows I don't go to the damn doctor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So her ass immediately got paranoid. Drove from Schaumburg all the way to University of Chicago, right? Immediately. Now, mind you, I'm going into the University of Chicago maybe like 10 in the morning. It's 2 o'clock. I still ain't been seen almost. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So my old lady pulls in. She asks me what's going on. And she goes to acting a fool, right? Acting a plum fool. You know how black women
Oh,
do.
they go ride.
Acting a plum fool.
They go ride.
So the doctor.
Get my man back there now.
Listen, the doctors put me in the triage, and they immediately realized what's going on.
Oh, he's about to die.
Right. But they also immediately realized I've been sitting here for XYZ amount of hours, and they ass in trouble if I do that.
While he dies.
You know what I mean? So these monsters putting me to sleep while they got me signing these consent forms. Like one hand is over my mouth like this while I'm signing this shit.
Wow.
It was a different experience, man.
Wow.
That's when I started saying, hey, fuck this silly shit. You're dumb ass.
Now, we almost died with dumb shit, man. I'll tell you a story about how I almost killed. I probably already told you this story before. I'll tell you a story about how I almost killed my roommate, like sophomore year in college after we moved in together off campus. This is I Said What I Said. His name is Tou. My name is Herb. We'll be right back.
WIIFTVPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Where my steppers at?
This is retired State Senator Ricky Hendon. This is my new song, Be My Christmas. It's on my House Party CD, produced by house music icons King Farley. It's available on my website, HollywoodHendon.com, various streaming platforms, and CDs. The album also has songs like We Getting Lit and Rona Money. Get the House Party CD in time for Christmas and New Year's Eve. This is our new song, We Getting Lit. Just in time for New Year's Eve. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Go to HollywoodHendon.com and get my music. Let's bring in 2021. Ricky Hollywood Hendon. Don't forget me, y'all.
This is the king of house music, Farley Jack Master Funk, and I endorse Hollywood Ricky Hendon. Let's go to work.
Day one. I like how that sound right there, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of inspirational. It's like everybody got a goal. They're trying to reach or alive. They're trying to live, man. Be bumps in the road. You gotta keep pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? If it don't kill you, it make you strong. You know what I'm saying? My story right here. It takes a special kind of mind to grind and work from the bottom and climb up the ladder of success in time. It doesn't matter what the test is, every step is another level till I step in as the next in line, no question. I'm considered one of the best. I whole life invested in holding mics and sketching rhymes. You guessed it. More mind, still restless. Yes, even pressed up my records on my own dime. As many battles I blew breath in. And open mics I blessed.
Welcome back. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the show. We greatly appreciate you. Shout out to Shaka. I appreciate you sharing the broadcast, brother. If you have not had an opportunity to do so, please take a quick moment and share the broadcast. We certainly appreciate y'all being here and helping us continue to grow this particular conversation. Two, you was talking about how you almost offed yourself. Mm-hmm. Like literally starved yourself to death.
Almost, you know. I was looking good, though, for the rest of that summer, though.
I was looking good, though. We don't give a shit, man. We are terrible to ourselves, man. Like, black men, we are awful to ourselves in terms of how we address our health, right? Like, the physical health, awful. Mental health is a whole nother thing. We don't treat ourselves very well there either. But just physically, we just tolerate shit. I know for sure that I've had torn ligaments in my thumb for like 10 years.
Oh, yeah. More than that with this finger here. I broke this a while ago, probably in my teenage years, and it just healed crooked.
Yeah, there's
war wound, man. It's just a war wound.
I probably got like 75% range of motion in my right wrist from something that happened probably 15 years ago. It just don't make sense. It don't make sense, but that's how we move. When I lived off campus down at SIU, me and my homeboy, First of all, don't have a conversation with me like you in the middle of the show. Nobody even knows you're right there, okay? Don't just be asking me questions like we having a one-on-one conversation. I'm talking to my family out here, and you just casually asking me questions. And cracking candy bar paper at that. Can you stop with all the noise?
Serafina.
Jesus Christ.
This is going to be Ron part 2.
Ron, I thought you were managing the interns.
Jesus Christ.
Don't do my intern like that, man.
Can you please let her know that nobody can see nor hear her, and she shouldn't just start a conversation with me right now? Can you tell her that?
Jesus, Ron, get on your job.
Jesus Christ.
I blame Ron.
To answer your question, SIUC in Carbondale. Okay, that good? Can I get back to talking to these people or no? Thanks. We moved off campus, and it's like the first day that we like lived together. And I make some Kool-Aid, banging fire, Southside Kool-Aid, right? Red, sweet, fire. Big ass picture of it. We get to drinking it. He drinks all that he can handle, goes to bed. I drink all that I can handle, go to bed. Wake up the next day. Man's door's closed. I don't see him. I don't think anything about it, right? I go about my morning routine. I get dressed. I go outside, hop in my car, head to campus. I see his car still there. Don't think nothing about it. Don't make no difference to me. It has nothing to do with me. Go about my day, come back home later that afternoon. His car is there. Come in the crib. Doesn't seem like anything has moved in the house. I go upstairs. His door still is closed. I don't think nothing about it. Right?
He ain't moved all day. He's in a diabetic coma.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? hey, that man is in his room asleep. I'll never go in there. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a long, long time before I think anything is odd about like, oh, he's just in his room. We just moved in together. The man might sleep late. The man might not have classes on this day. I don't know. I don't even care. It isn't until maybe 10, 11 o'clock that night, his girlfriend comes over there. She ringing the bell. So I go down there. She like, is Craig here? And I'm like, I don't know, to be honest with you. I ain't seen him all day, right? His car out there, yeah, I see his car. She's like, well, can I go upstairs and see? Wait a minute. No, you're not. Like, you're not going to just go upstairs and see. I understand your concern. Paul's out here, though. I'll go see, right? I don't know what's going on up in that room. I haven't seen this man all day. You can't just go in there, open the door.
Player politics, you know what I'm saying?
So I go upstairs, I open the door. He's in there, knocked out. Solo, nobody else is in there. It's all good, but he's just knocked out. So I just go back downstairs. Tell Shorty, I say, yeah, he upstairs in his room. He knocked out. So she go upstairs. I'll do whatever. Probably like 2 minutes later, she called my name again. She's like, Herb. I'm like, what? Like, she like, we got to take him to the hospital. I'm like, for what? She's like, he's not responding. He's not waking up. I'm like, what do you mean?
He been dead all day.
What do you mean he's not waking up?
That's
right?
not funny.
So he's not waking up. So go upstairs, get him, put him in the car, take him to the hospital. He's literally in a diabetic coma. He's diabetic, right? I don't know this though, right? So when we moved in there, I did notice that they put like a bunch of stuff in the, where like your produce and stuff would go in the drawers at the bottom. They put these boxes in there.
All this insulin and stuff.
I have no idea what it is. Just some boxes in the refrigerator. I don't know why people put. I ain't never seen nobody put boxes in the refrigerator.
I don't know no diabetics yet.
I don't know none yet, so I don't even think about it. This dude diabetic as hell. He done drank
And you
all
done
the
put-
sugar out this Kool-Aid.
You had the house party Kool-Aid.
He's
going.
been in that room sleep for 24 hours straight, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? The doctor's like, yo, if y'all don't get him up here like right now or maybe like 5 minutes later, we ain't gonna be able to wake him up. Like,
about to be a murderer.
yeah, I'm like, bro, you should probably tell me that you got some shit you could die from in a day if you drink too much Kool-Aid, fam.
Some sugar.
Like you need to, like, if we gonna live together, you should tell me that, fam. I didn't know that. You would have died in here. If your girlfriend didn't come over here, you would have been there at least till tomorrow morning. Then maybe I'd have been like, yo, what's the deal? But by then, the doctor said clearly it would have been too late.
Man, since we telling college stories, right?
Yo,
So my first apartment I burnt to the ground. You understand me?
wait. That's how the story starts? To the
ground.
You literally burnt it to the ground.
Yeah, it was outrageous. It was a bad situation. It was a very bad situation.
Do tell, sir. Do tell.
So I was trying to cook French fries. I didn't know how to cook. You know what I mean? So I threw some grease on the stove, and my dumb ass fell asleep. I forgot the grease was on the stove, right? And I fell asleep. So after a while, my fire alarm goes off, and it's a small fire on top of the stove, right on top of the grease. My dumb ass didn't know you don't throw water on the grease fire. So I threw water.
Oh, and it just whoosh.
Man, that shit took the whole kitchen in seconds.
Quick. You hear me?
Seconds, G. I grabbed what I could grab, and I walked out that motherfucker.
Well,
Yep, not my problem.
what came of this?
Nothing. I'm
Nothing.
fired. Oh shit. Oh God.
Was anybody else harmed in the building? Like you get everybody out? You just
So
like
we had these like
just your gym shoes.
singular one flat apartments.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, we lost that one.
Damn. Y'all down there wilding in Charleston, huh?
Oh, that shit was hilarious. It wasn't funny at the moment. I was scared as shit. Like I didn't. When it went up, it went up. I had never seen nothing in my life. I was like, damn, I'm in trouble.
That is
So
different.
it was a bit. Good thing we had two ways out that house, because if it didn't, I would have been asked out. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't go through the kitchen. It was outrageous, bro. It was outrageous. It was like backdraft.
He said I threw the water on it. I know that thing instantly
I had never seen
went
nothing
up.
like that in my life.
Whoosh.
It was. Whoosh.
That's a fire.
I was like, oh shit! Grab your shit, get your shoes, get your sneakers, get the Jordans, get out of there.
Damn.
Oh God.
College, man. College is different, man. You have some times, and I think that's what it's for, though. Like that's really what it's for. That's crazy. I ain't almost burned down nothing, but I guess I could tell y'all. I put it on Instagram probably like a year ago. This is ignorant as hell. In fact, I might should even save this
Stop
story.
it with the confessions. It's a confession, but at the end of the day, everybody knew. It wasn't like I could hide the burnt building. You know what I'm saying? The shit was burnt up. It was
Where you gonna put it?
whoever had the burnt building.
Sweep it under the rug.
The shit was burnt down. Yeah, what am I do? You know.
Damn. What did the landlord people say? What did the real estate company say?
So it was attached to the school. So
so
I
okay.
had no trouble.
It was all good.
Just as long as you ain't die, you good.
But did you die though?
But did you die though?
That is
Yeah,
bananas.
that was it. You know what I'm saying? My roommate shit got saved. By the time the fire department got there, his room hadn't completely burnt down. But none of us. The only shit that got fucked up was the real estate. That's it. Really, like, we ain't had shit anyway. We men, right? We had TV on the floor.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Sneakers in the goddamn boxes.
Absolutely how our
That's
apartment
pretty much
was.
all we had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't nothing to lose in there. But yeah, it kind of stopped like halfway after it finished burning the kitchen down.
Hey yo, that is bananas, bro. I told a story on my Instagram, so I guess I'll tell y'all. It's ignorant as hell. Like it's ignorant as hell. In fact, I might even just save it for Relationship Friday because it's really a Relationship Friday kind of story to share. Maybe I'll share with y'all at some point today before we get up out of here. Maybe not. If not, I'll share it with y'all Friday.
Nah, I know that one. Let's say that one to Friday.
You know which story I'm talking about? Because I put it on the gram. That thing is ignorant as hell. But we'll put that out on Friday. Either way, man, we got a couple things we want to get into today. The Proud Boys ran rampant through the streets of Washington, D.C., burning Black Lives Matter flags and vandalizing historically black churches, including the oldest black church in D.C. We're going to talk about that conversation, get a little bit more into this vaccination conversation. And there was something else you said you wanted to pop into. I forgot what it was.
I was just telling you a story about this documentary I checked out last night called Black on Black. And it's a documentary from like the 60s, late 60s, I believe it was. And I just got some interesting takes from the documentary about just black life and black culture from that time. You know, it just made me think about certain things, and I just wanted to address them.
Cool. Also want to get some details from the Iswis Book Club leadership about when we getting that thing popping. I think y'all said the third Thursday in January, and I think we already identified what the first book is going to be. I continue to see other people making suggestions for books we should read. Keep those coming as well. And I'm hearing from people that they are getting invitations to join the book club and information about how they can. So y'all are doing a phenomenal job with the Iswis Book Club. Keep it up. Let's get on the same page about that. We'll do that on the other side of this break. This is I Said What I Said. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM. Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Nigga, that's the court. You know what I'm saying? You see that they tearing the shit down, though, man. I remember back in the day, everybody used to be out here juking and shit, man. This your boy, young fella, man. You know what I'm saying? Tearing our shit down, nigga. Come on, nigga. Fuck with those. 60638 to the world, blow, though. You understand?
On this road from a boy to a man with no one to hold my hand. Shit, I'm just praying that I make it home safe. You never know what to expect when living life up in the jacks. One wrong step could be the reason you don't make it home safe. Gang writings on the walls, niggas running from the laws, but through it all, we just really trying to make it home safe. Navigating the obstacles of the streets can be one hell of a feat. Think it's sweet, you might not make it home safe. A bunch of children of the ghetto, unaware of the shit that awaited us all. Staring at the letter CVL spray painted on walls. Was just a tender boy, son of a single mother, expecting a baby girl. Now yet subjected to this crazy world. And at this time I'm thinking life was all Saturday morning cartoons and action figures, not knowing that as I get bigger that shit'll get dark soon. Them cap guns turned to broke revolvers with bodies on them. Some rebelled, some took to the streets cause ain't nobody want them. I went from mama's boy to child of the streets, a child of deceit. I was young and running wild in the streets, hanging with folks them, but I wouldn't plug. They just accepted me, gave me some lit, told me fear no Vic, that was the recipe. Can't run the streets if you know you got poor endurance. Stay on point, cause proper preparation.
Welcome back. We are inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We were sharing a couple of quick stories from Toussaint. Clearly he has a death wish, right? Like he starves himself to death, sits through a collapse lung, burns his kitchen down. Like he just clearly like
Young and running wild, man. You know, couldn't focus. I had too much stuff going on.
I dig it, man. Speaking of being young and running wild, the Proud Boys ran through the city of DC. There are some videos, but they're not that telling. Y'all, it's just angry mob of young white boys mostly.
Not just young, but just white boys for sure.
That's
right?
true.
And I think that exemplifies like the moment in time that we're in, right? So even when we start thinking about Brother Sadiq and Sister Cassidy's last show about the vaccine, I have to put everything in the context of the moment in time, right? The moment in time speaks to an energy that we've not experienced in our lifespan, right? We having this kind of reemergence of this kind of like overt racism, this overt bigotry, right? So, and I'm gonna say I don't even want to use racism. I want to use bigotry, right? Because I think there's a difference in the understanding. Racism is a system, right?
100%.
Bigotry is personal. You know what I'm saying? And we've not lived in an arena or an era that kind of alluded or allowed us to see this in abundance, let's say that. Not to say you've not experienced being called a nigga, not to say you've not experienced moments of bigotry, but to see it overtly in this kind of manner is beyond the scope of our life experience.
It's different, for sure.
Right? But I think that we're moving into this moment because everything else is so, we're just in a volatile time and everything is kind of like vulnerable. Like everybody's responding to their vulnerability. You know what I mean? And in that kind of an energy, it's kind of difficult to respond traditionally because this isn't your tradition.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not accustomed to this moment in time.
Right.
So it's gonna cause for an adjustment on all ends. So even when I was listening to the doctor talk about, I think Cassie said, why should we take the vaccine? And the doctor's response was, why shouldn't we? You know what I mean? And he said that so confidently.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And the entire time I was thinking like, well, shit, it's a wealth of reasons why we should.
Right. It's a whole bunch of reasons why we should.
You know what I mean? As in, I'm sure he could apply a wealth of reasons of why he thinks we should. You know what I mean? But I also think that's based in the kind of, it's based in where you live, and I mean that in intellectually.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So I have a intense distrust of the American system of government. Every time I come in here, we talk about how we might not be paying attention, but you see the numbers of the homeless rising in just this city. Right. We know that we're moving into this age of automation where there's no need for employees, and when there's no need for employees, there's really no need for a certain caste of society. Really, that caste becomes a hindrance because when there are no employees and there is no economics, that caste really becomes a threat to the power source because they still gonna eat. Right. When there's nothing left to eat, the poor eventually gonna eat the rich. It is what it
100%.
is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a dog. You don't feed him long enough, he becomes vicious. You know what I mean? I'm hungry, motherfucker. I'm coming to get it. Right. So when I think about this moment in time, all of that shit is playing into every governmental action.
Sure.
Right? Which makes me question every governmental action. You know what I mean? And not just, I'm from an elk where I questioned every governmental action in the first place, but it's a different kind of questioning. Like, like my life is on the line based on this question at this point.
And you should feel that way.
I think I should. I think that's the most safe space to be in. Responsible for your own existence.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to deny that that's the energy, I struggle.
Yeah, I think it takes some intentional oversight to not see what is happening here. I think you got to be intentional about not trying to see what's actually going on if you don't truly see it. And I get the desire to want to be comfortable within that space, but I think it is the discomfort that really causes us to move in a way. And I think that, like you said, we haven't really seen this type of energy in our times where you have these angry mobs literally taking to the street and doing these types of things. Like we saw, 50s, 60s, 40s, like that was a different kind of time. But I think that those are the very same actions. That is the very same energy which spawned the civil rights movement, right? I think that is what got people to understand, it is extremely uncomfortable around here. It is a discomfort with which I can't coexist, and then it'll cause you to do something else. Right now, we've found a way to be comfortably coexist within this system, and so there's no imminent reason for me to act until you start to bring it to me in a way where now it's like, if I don't really start to defend myself in a way that is really more offensive than it is defensive, then I'm going to ultimately perish around here. Like, I have to become more offensive in my approach and less just always on the defense. We've been on the defense for so long that don't really get you nowhere, right? You can try to hide from all these punches if you want. They throwing too many of them, right? You can't. Eventually, you got to find a way to punch back and be intentional about where you're throwing these punches at, where you're expecting them to land, and what you expect them to accomplish. And I think that we can do that piece if we just one, recognize the problem here, and then two, be willing and able to respond in a way that is most effective for us.
Yeah, I'm with that, right? I'm you said start playing offense, right?
Yeah, we got to play offense. We play defense. I want to say we play defense well, but I can't even really say that because it's not like we've been able to stop any of the offensive onslaughts that have headed our way. We have been able to somehow survive and sustain in a circumstance in which I think almost any other people would have perished by now. So there is something to be said for that. But at some point, it becomes about less about treading water and more about finding a way to swim, more about finding a way to build a goddamn boat that we don't have to tread water. We are the best in the world at treading water and surviving in inhumane conditions. But eventually you have to want to just get out of those conditions in totality.
Yeah. And I think that's partially the conversation that we always have here, specifically around masculinity, right? Because what's it look like to not be responsive but to be aggressive?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's a shift in those energies. You know what I mean? To not be responsive but to be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had a conversation with Dr. Lance the other day when I was doing the Salim show, and we were talking about the energies that kind of permeate on 63rd Street and Parkway for anybody who's not, old block for the national conversation.
Right.
And how, he called them a misguided group. And I kind of, I agreed and disagreed all simultaneously. You know what I mean? Misguided, maybe not. Maybe they're misguided in regards to who they're directing that aggression at, but misguided in their use of aggression, I don't know if I agree.
Okay, I can follow that piece for sure.
But in that vein, when I start thinking about and this is, again, all of this shit is always just one conversation to me. It's not a vaccine. It's not about a vaccine for me. It's about the lack of trust that I have in the American government.
Mm-hmm.
So listening to the doctor today, he was like, we need to start doing for self. We need to, get out here and get on farms. And I got my own farm, and he went into that conversation. And I just thought about that shit, and I was saying to myself, man, how do we add on another responsibility to a downtrodden people as it is, right? Now you got to learn farming when you already are rent insecure, right? When your education insecure, when you don't have anything working in your favor, now you got to learn how to cook. I mean, now you got to learn how to grow food, right? Mm-hmm. And I get the whole pull yourself from your bootstraps. You got to be self-determined to survive. I get all that, I do. But then if we ask those questions, if we put that as a standard, then I have to ask the question as, then what the fuck is the purpose of government?
I think that we understand that their purpose is solely to control and maintain order as they desire it, right? And this illusion or this idea that they are somehow positioned or, charged with the responsibility of ensuring all of our safety and prosperity, I think that's an illusion. I think that's what we're told, right? But I think that all of us can look back on our history and say that has not been the case for the vast majority of us. That's just not what they're actually doing. And so I think that it then does become, it behooves us to be able to, control as many aspects of our lives as possible, including the things that we eat and the things that we consume, right? So I think that if we can get to a space where we actually are growing our own food and producing our own food, that is probably the safest and healthiest space for us to be in. I don't think that continuing to charge the same people that are intentionally coming up with systems to oppress you and a vast array of ways to ultimately kill you slowly or fast, I don't think it's wise to put your food in their hands either, right?
So sometimes I think it's the core, it's the horse and the carriage kind of conversation. Which one goes first?
Mm-hmm.
Which one are we putting first? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't think we fully grasp what government really means. You know what I mean? The government is essentially there to take care of the least of these. That's what you're here for, right?
Right.
To govern. That's the very definition. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So when we start thinking about this in context, right? It is the government because they went into this conversation about grocery stores as well. But it's the government that allots them foods and them processed foods to get into those grocery stores, right? It is the government that creates the standard. Even the doctor's like, you shouldn't put milk in your body. Well, if we think back to childhood and we think about the American school curriculum, there was a hierarchy of needs in regards to food, and milk was at the top of that fucking list.
Indeed.
Right?
There's a whole campaign about got milk. Milk does a body good. All this shit.
That campaign does not win anywhere. It still exists, right? Now, the reason that campaign exists is because lobbyists from the industry, from the milking, whatever they would call that industry, the farming industry, cows, whatever, are pushing that agenda. So they're being paid to push that agenda, right? And the government is seeping or reaping the benefits. I.e., you want me to push this? Here's my campaign fund. Make sure I get reelected. Put it in my coffers.
Interesting that didn't change while former First Lady Michelle Obama was spearheading the school lunch campaign nationwide.
Yeah, but see, we minimize the vitality of government and how big that conversation really is, right? So imagine that everybody's here, planted here, raised here in these systems here, right? The dairy industry. I'm sorry, you're right. How thanks, right? You're here, right? Imagine being in the middle of an ocean. All you gonna know is what's in the ocean. That's all that's available to you. You don't even fucking know land exists.
Sure.
Because you in the middle of the goddamn ocean.
Sure.
Right? So that is the system of American government. When you are born here, you are part of this system, and it's rationalized all around you why this shit makes sense. Right? Now, as we grow and evolve, we're asking our people specifically to say, hey, let go of all those ideologies. Let go of all that you've learned. Now, relearn some shit. It's not readily available to you what you need to be relearning.
Oh, no. It's very scarce.
It's very scarce. And then depend on self. Yeah. Right? And I'm not saying that's not plausible or it's not necessary. I'm saying the viability, the option we have of making that happen, in my mind, is slim to none. But I think we have a greater option into forcing the hand of the government with those who know the information.
I don't know, too. I think
adjust.
I think that either way, you're dealing with something that is going to require a great deal of introspective work, a great deal of connectivity, and a great deal of collective work and responsibility. And I think that if we can maximize those skills or develop those skills to do either one of those things, then we can maximize those skills to do both. And I think that we can maybe do them at the same time or maybe not, but I think that the same collective and connected unity that we're going to need to be able to force the hand of the government to treat us better, I think that if we can do that, then we can do any fucking thing else. I think that is going to be as hard, if not harder, than learning how to farm and produce our own food. We got to take a break, but I do want to continue this conversation because I think that it's critically important that we do both, certainly one or the other, but I think they take pretty much the same skill set. This is I Said What I Said. We'll have that conversation and more on the other side of this break.
WIFTBPM.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Milwaukee's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1. Right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Jackson. If you could make up a social media holiday, what would it be?
Randy said National Don't Let No One Put You Down Day.
No one. What you gonna do? So when they say something crazy, you slap them?
Be like me said. Remy said a Jukathon Day.
Man, we're about 60 years old. I be done had a heart attack.
You gotta get your heart rate up.
Okay, not that far.
All right, Mario said my favorite one. My friends and I do what we call National Call Off from Work Day.
As a business owner, I don't.
You don't like that, yeah?
I don't like that.
Because I'm the boss of this family.
We got Marcus Garvey Day from Remy too.
Oh, Marcus Garvey Day. All right, what will we do on Marcus Garvey Day?
Call off from work.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. That would be great. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Every black holiday has something to do with calling off from work.
You're cool. I'm out.
about National Join a Positive Black Organization Day? Because I don't want to be recruited. I don't want to be recruited and the brothers be like, thank you. Thank you. How about National Tell White People the Truth Day? Tell them how you really feel.
You can't handle the truth. Why don't we call that National Black People Get Locked Up Day?
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hello.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Hey, yo, Ren, turn that up. You know, same old church. Jump in a whip just to take me a ride. Roll up just to ease my mind. Remember them nights, them that lost my life. Ain't been the same since bro them died. Jump in the whip just to take me a ride. Hold up just to ease my mind. Bad bitch and she on the passenger side. Hold up, come and catch this vibe. Jump in the whip just to take me a ride. Roll up just to ease my mind. Remember them nights, them that lost my life. Ain't been the same since bro them died. And the whip just to take me a ride. Hold up just to ease my mind. Bad bitch and she on the passenger side. Hold up, come and catch this vibe.
Happening, we live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. Behind the glass in the production studio doing all of the actual hard work is the one and only Ron Riller. Ron, what's the word, my brother?
Feeling blessed and highly favored.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
That's twos. I'm going to steal one of y'all's each day.
Good, man. I wish you take more than our little, pitch word sayings. Take all the other stuff we be giving you.
If y'all only knew how much I quoted y'all outside this motherfucker.
See, he act like he on here just like the kids, man.
Yeah, see, I've been reading and let me tell you, little folk.
See, what you don't understand is they devaluing our system.
See, this is what you don't get, sister.
That is so funny.
So check this out, though. Salim, the great, the GOAT.
What he said was amazing.
Salim essentially was saying what I was saying. He said,
I think he was saying the opposite.
He said it way better than I was saying. But
I think he was saying the opposite of what.
No, he's saying exactly what I was saying. He said prescribing high discipline behavior alterations is an implausible expectation for people long socialized for subservience.
Yeah.
Right? So to ask people to be super responsible, and I mean like responsible for your fucking life. I mean the food you intake. Like not just the food you intake, but growing the food that you intake.
Yeah.
Right? It damn near is implausible.
I agree with you, right? But I think it applies the other way as well.
Okay.
I think that your both tasks require the same skill set and requires the same long and arduous work process in my opinion, right? I think that getting people to come together to collectively deliver a strong enough message and consequence to the United States government to get them to change their behavior is going to be just as hard as getting us to change our behavior. And really, if we get to the space where we can make them change theirs, then we must have already changed ours, right?
But see, there's a difference though. To get the government to alter their behavior, it don't take everybody in the conversation. To get all of us to alter our behavior, it would take everybody in the conversation, right? So every household would have to know how to grow their own food. And if they didn't know how to grow their own food, then we would have to know how to create distribution channels to travel the food from where we are growing the household. Mm-hmm. Like it would be a level of collectivism that we've never seen in our community. It would have to be.
I think it's the same thing politically, though.
I don't think so.
I do. Like how small of a sample size of our population do you think
our whole community doesn't vote right now, right? So the voting populace in our community is whatever percentage that is, right? But with just that percentage that it is, we legitimately had the power to dictate the narrative of this year's election. Mm-hmm. That it didn't take everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's a needle that we can move on our own.
And can we get that same amount of the population to say that we need to produce our own food or we need to educate our own children, right? And then could we create a system that works for any given community? Not so much that you got to travel halfway across the city or halfway across the country to get your fresh produce, but each given community should have a couple of community gardens. And there are people in the community who want to do that piece. There are also people in the community who want to do the education
I'm with it, but here's the thing. You're fighting against the American system of culture. You're always going to be fighting against the American system of culture.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not like we work in this way and nobody's opposing this behavior set. The opposition is going to be always opposing that behavior set because the opposition makes the bulk of their capital on controlling behaviors. Right? And it makes more money for you to be subservient. Right? And that's cultural. So when I saw, even in the context of just you said healthy and fresh produce.
Right.
Fuck healthy and fresh produce. Just putting produce in your mouth. We surviving off ramen.
100%.
You know what I mean? And it's a cost attached to ramen that the vast majority of us can cover.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And don't you find it quite peculiar that, and this was the conversation that I was having the other day, don't you think it's quite peculiar that natural produce, right? You're talking about the fruits and the vegetables, are the things that are least expensive to produce, but they're the most expensive to buy, right? Like the shit comes from the earth. It don't take a whole lot to be able to grow it. Does it take a skill set? Sure, but it don't take a whole lot to be able to do it. Now you compare that to like cows, right? And I know y'all talking about dairy earlier, but all the parts of the cow, the meat, all that shit. There's an expensive process to be able to produce that kind of meat. That's more expensive than being able to say grow tomatoes, right? But for whatever reason, you go to the damn store, the price difference on those, you can get 10 pounds of meat for fucking couple dollars. You can't get 10 tomatoes for the same price.
But I think you got it wrong though, right? So that organically grown, that naturally grown shit, one, it doesn't last, right? You can't travel a tomato from California to Chicago in the back of a goddamn truck and it's gonna last.
Because and it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
And just because they create a way for it to last, don't make it some shit that we should consume.
I'm not saying we should consume it, but I'm saying in regards to profiteering, that's how it works. So
of course.
I was just reading something about some kind of beef that they grow in Japan that the burger costs $1,000, like a small burger.
Okay.
Right? And the reason it costs $1,000 is because this is this super organically grown kind of cow that has never tasted any kind of whatever Pfizer or whatever the other Monsanto, all those companies, they've not had any engagement with these kind of cows, right? These are really farm raised cows, like for real. They legitimately eating clean grass and all this type of shit.
Right.
But the beef is like a delicacy because this shit don't even really exist anymore. Right? You seen the chicken leg from Harold's, man? That shit ain't real. You understand what I'm saying? Like that shit is pumped full of poison. And they do that for profiteering.
Bro, on 75th and Stony Island, you have Kentucky Fried Chicken on one corner. Across the street, Popeyes is right there on that corner. 1 block north of that, Harold's is on that corner. And then right across the street to the south of the Popeyes is Jewel's grocery store right there. And they have fried chicken, cheap chicken Mondays or whatever, right? Like, there's so much damn chicken on that fucking corner just to supply those 4 places with the chicken needed to meet their demand on a weekly basis has to be astronomical. Now, you extrapolate that across the city of Chicago and then out across the country and the world even. How much fucking chicken needs to be produced to meet this demand? You can't breed enough fucking chickens for this shit, right? Somebody's doing something that can't be healthy for us to be able to produce all this stuff. I was sitting in a restaurant the other day, right? And I was getting a doggone burrito. And as I'm looking at this burrito get made, I'm like, yo, look how much steak they got on this damn grill, right? Now, that's happening in every restaurant all across the country. How many fucking cows are there? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many are they producing? And how are these cows living, stacked on top of each other and getting slaughtered like that, like every day? Like, it can't be healthy. Depending on these people to put anything first other than their profits, hell no.
But even still, though, man, we got to understand the disproportionate balance of power, right? So, and this is one of the things I want to talk about. So, in context, changing your behavior is one thing. But when we up against water being traded on the stock market, I don't give a fuck how disciplined you are, right? If you don't have power and control, you can't grow shit because you don't even get access to water.
I'm sorry, sir. Did you just say water being traded on the stock market?
Water is about to be on the stock. It's on the stock market.
Pause that right there. We got to take a break. When we come back, they're about to sell, like somebody owns, not like the bottle, right? Not like somebody.
Man, I own water. Water, goddammit.
On the open market to be traded.
It's a dude selling fresh air in the can. Yeah, two Chainz. You know, 2 Chainz do the most expensive.
Yeah.
It's an Asian dude selling air in a can. They go collect air from certain areas, and they bottle it and sell it in the can.
Here's Fiji air. Listen, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to find out what else they are controlling, bottling, and trying to sell to you on the open market. Water?
Water, G.
We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Tune in every Sunday. Don't miss it. Live from the West Center for the Black People Media Studios. It is the Kickoff Kickback. Join the conversation with the brothers, Eugene McIntosh, Herb Howard, and myself, Terrence Tomlin.
We got analysis live from the stadium. The brother Joe Lewis will be following through. We got great guests coming in, players, personnel, people.
Say what? We do our thing every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, taking you right up to kickoff.
We picking the full slate of NFL games. We talking fantasy football. Gino got you covered on all the bets. It's a kickback.
Make sure y'all join the conversation. Smash that like button. Smash that share button. And continue to help us push the culture forward.
Don't miss it every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, live here from the West Center for the Black People Media Studios.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday. Family, this is Dawn Millhouse from the Book of Dawn. Christmas and holiday time means giving to me. Make certain that you give of yourself to somebody else. This is Dawn. Happy holidays from the Book of Dawn.
And yo, my music is addictive to the user. I let the rush soothe them, they tune in, then I school them. They said, homie, this shit ain't real, it's just illusions used to fool men, women and child to confusion. Start running wild, changing views when niggas think they winning when they losing. Caught up in movements, moving foolish, letting life fool them, betting they life losing, trying to better their life when vice moving. Cruising, grabbing clicks and cruising, bagging chicks and dudes off tips with slick maneuvers, turn OGs to broke thieves and hungry crooks. Stand sideways, my way, giving me funny looks. That's why I hide my money in books. They scared to learn, allergic to words, swerving towards murderous curves. In the dark, working the curve. I'ma still shine cause I'm the light and I'ma burn to my purpose to serve. Knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain the balance between your soul and the body and control. It's the science. Knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain the balance between your soul and the body and control. It's the science. Pussy on the brain, T-bone steaks, a pint of dog, light in the jaw. Pushing cane on the paper, writing bars. Lines that similar, the scars that run deep. I've been involved in the race since the beginning. Running these streets like Kenyans when it was dark with no heat. Used to spar with the stars before I nodded to sleep. I hardly speak, it's hard for me. But all I see from the broads and the cars on this dark-end street, parts of me from the heart is hard. And Mars was deep, starving for the part when we would start to eat. Since Marvin argued deep with an armory of Harvard.
Shout out to Gino for coming through with all the music, man.
All the music.
Gino be blessing the whole network with the tracks. Shout out to Ron for putting them on I Said What I Said, not just holding them for On the Soil. Gino be at you for that too, though.
I take that blame
too. Gino be salty. Stop playing all of my music, bro. I feel him. He be having that heat, though. No good deed goes unpunished. That's what I always say.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
It is what it is, and it's going to be what it's
better to ask for forgiveness than permission, Ron. Keep playing that shit.
All right.
You know what I mean? But listen, I want to quickly run through this article real fast, man. It's a few of them you can look up, but it's Yahoo Finance specifically, and it says water's running out so fast, Wall Street is trading like it's gold and oil. You know what I mean? America's running out of water, and Wall Street is now taking bets on how future shortages will play out. This week, investors, farmers, and municipalities were able to wager on the future price of water for the first time, trading under the ticket of NQH2O on the NASDAQ water index. The futures announced in September are tied to California's $1.1 billion spot water market. Last closed at 489.11 index points, equating to $489 per acre/foot. So when you start thinking about that in context, bro, like I saw a documentary a long time. I don't remember the name of it. I think it was called Capitalism Too, if I remember correctly. But there was this white dude, and I don't know who he was at the time, and he was talking about, man, if we could find a way to charge people for air, we would.
100%.
There's no end to American greed. You know what I mean? And water is liquid gold, right? Water is essential to life.
Second best thing. Well, first best thing I ever did. Top 2.
What's that?
Water and women, fam.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it's not even a choice. You got to have water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could choose to deny women. You got to have water.
But why would you, though?
Yeah, I fully grasp it.
But why would you?
But without water, you die. You know what I mean? And now that we're trading that shit on the NASDAQ, it's like once it becomes a commodity, we're in a space of scarcity that we've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we got to respond differently. You know, there was a question in the thread that said, you know, I wonder when we as a people will collectively hit rock bottom. I'd argue that we've already passed rock bottom and that we're living on a false sense of credit right now.
Right. And I think that's what Salim is always talking about when he's talking about living on that edge of survival, right? And when you're so close to that edge of survival, it's really hard to try to think about anything else. Never mind, how do I advance? How do I not fall off the cliff is all I'm focused on. How do I not fall off the cliff today? And a lot of those things looks like buying into the very things that are causing your sickness in the first place or causing you to be on that edge of survival in the first place. And it's a vicious cycle. It is a well laid out plan. It is a catch-22, the likes of any other that I can't even think of another comparison to it, right? It's different from anything else than when you put people in that type of situation to where they are literally forced to depend on the very same thing that is bringing about their demise. And, you know, trying to find a way to get people to like, yo, if we approach this thing differently, we may be able to overthrow it. And let's be clear, let's be honest, there's a real possibility that we still may not be able to overthrow that thing, right? But all I can say to that is I know for sure what this system as it is already functioning is doing. I know for sure what's coming from this piece. Let's at least try this other way. And if we go out that way, so what? We was going out this way anyway.
Yeah, man, but this brings forth the conversation of it's like get rich or die trying, man. You gotta die trying. You know what I mean? You gotta die trying to save the planet. Like legitimately, we're in that space and place and time, right? It is a necessity that our generation takes on the reins of saving the planet, just like it was a necessity for every generation before us. But at this rate, the wealth is calcifying. We just talk about it from the profit perspective, right? But those profits are on the backs of resources. Those resources are being hoarded and destroying classes of people.
Yeah, of
right?
course. Mm-hmm.
Now America is America, right? And in essence, it's a gluttonous country, right? We're greedy and we're wealthy in comparison. So when you go to these other countries and you see poverty, it's kind of hard for you to fathom living like that.
Sure.
Some of those extreme levels of poverty.
Sure.
But that is the narrative or the norm across the rest of this planet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And us being the bottom caste at the bottom of the American social system, even at the bottom, you still going to the bathroom inside your house.
Right.
You can still turn on the sink inside your house. You're not walking to the local well that's 2 miles away, and that shit might be dirty water. Mm-hmm. You don't have to deal with that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. But we're moving into that space of the haves and the have-nots.
Who are not urinating inside their house.
Right. We're seeing that transition as we speak is moving into the capacity of the rest of the global market. Exactly. Right?
Exactly.
And now this goes back, there's several things attached to this in my mind, right? One, I think that Chicago is Mecca for black people, right? Black American people, American descendants of slavery. I think Chicago's Mecca. Cook County has a larger concentration of black people than anywhere else in this country. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that in its essence just creates and breeds something different.
Sure.
Right? Secondly, we're talking about clean water right now. I tell people all the time the last war of the world is going to be right here in this city because Lake Michigan is it's the largest body of clean water on earth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So shit is going to get real here very fast. So even when you start talking about the context of moving us off the land, there's so many different implications to moving us off the land. It ain't just I'm sick of niggas. It ain't just this shit has certain kind of values that the rest of the world ain't even offering. And we don't value it at all. We don't even know those values.
I think Ready Rock said they just sold a lake. I think Ready Rock said it might have been Audrey that said they just sold a lake down in Southern Illinois. Like sold a lake. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like some shit God put here. Like that's the whole idea of people like owning that kind of stuff is crazy to me, right? We often have this conversation, you and I, about like companies that like own wood, right? Like what you own? Wood. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a different level. So you're talking about getting to a space of owning water and then putting it on the open market for people to be able to trade for it, and then having certain people with financial incentives to make sure that water goes to certain places and perhaps then therefore not to others. That's a problem. That is a problem, and that's not something that very same government, when we talk about their job is to then protect the least of thee, or to ensure that everybody has this opportunity to pursue whatever the hell the American dream is supposed to be. That's not real. Like you can't depend on those people to do that if they're allowing this thing to happen too. It just don't make sense.
So I don't want to take this out of context, but I want to read this comment.
Cool.
This is from Raymond Hubbard. It says, the stock market is common sense. You invest in things needed in everyday life. The media puts info out late on purpose to get you to buy into something that's not moving. Right now, up next is the hemp burst. It's going to shoot up soon, but we be worried about stock that has been established already. Water. Now, again, context is important, right? I think what Raymond is explaining is how the stock market is working. I don't give a fuck how the stock market is working, right? And I don't mean this in no disrespectful manner to Raymond. I think the conversation that I'm trying to have is the fact that we are being locked out of resource. I don't care how it's being sold. The fact that they think it's for sale is the problem. Right? The fact that they think it's for sale is the issue, right? It's part of the problem. And I said this the other time we was in here. Success is a very empty goal. And I mean that in the sense like you get one championship, you can get two, you can get three, you can get four. You're always thinking about the next opportunity, the next one. Right. So it's an ongoing thing. It's like numbers. It's like the conversation you hear with Bob Marley. They talk about the kind of money he got. And he was like, man, money is infinite. That shit don't mean nothing to me. Love is what's important to me. Right? In context, we have this capitalist system and this capitalist mind state that we always trying to figure out how we fit in. I'm starting to think about how the fuck do we change the conversation? How do we change the entirety of the structure? Because the structure is what's damaging.
Right.
It's not that how do I fit in there the best way for myself? How do I make the most money I can, or how do I make myself the most comfortable?
Right.
How do we change the structure?
Right.
You know what I mean? How do we envision something different? How do we envision a new concept in totality? That's
what I'm saying. That's what we are not doing, right? We're not opening our minds up to that space. We are just trying to be just comfortable enough within the dysfunction. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't know how we can. Like, I think it's asking the same thing when you whether you're talking about getting people to become self-sustainable communities in terms of agriculture. I think you're asking the same thing when you're talking about getting to a space where we are demanding or forcing or finding ways for the government to change it. You're asking the same thing that calls for this level of creativity, this level of thinking outside of this box that you've been trained to think in for so long. Your entire life, you've been taught to think inside this box. This is how this thing works. This is where this comes from. This is how you get your food. You go to the store, you go to the restaurant. That's how you eat, right? It is the same thing to get people to change their mind about how this entire process works from the government level on down. I don't think that you can get people to really approach their relationship with the government differently any more than you can get them to approach their relationship with food differently. I think it's the same thing that leads you into those places. Like, you just kind of accept what they give you as left. So, this is what's left. These are your options. That's what you got to roll with.
I think it's twofold, though, right? And maybe you're right. Maybe you're right in totality, right? Maybe you're right. But I think there's a difference, and this is one of the things that I learned just in my own journey, right? I don't necessarily need you to change the way you think. All I need is your body. That's it, right? I just need the look of force, right? I just need the look of power, right? And if I got the look of power, I can manipulate the government. And I don't mean that like me by myself, but I mean that's how the concept works, right?
I understand.
So when you start thinking about the civil rights movement, everybody that was out there marching was even the Black Lives Matter movement, right? When we start talking about the communities that was getting looted and rioted in, everybody wasn't out there for the same reason.
Hell no.
Right? But I don't give a shit. Just like the white man does, you leverage that moment in time to get what you need out the deal. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you might have been out there as an opportunist. So fucking what? If I can leverage this and say, hey, let's speak to the pain of our community, and you're going to have to deal with the pain in our community, or this shit is going to be a common occurrence, we can shift some legislation here.
100%.
Now, them people who I'm leveraging in those conversations, they ain't got nothing to do with that shit.
Right.
They was there because they could get some free hair weave.
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But it all plays into the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, to get you to change your diet, that's on you. You really got to be serious about that shit. I can't enforce what you do and don't put in your mouth. I can't manipulate that behavior in the same kind of way. Right? But it's the game. It's the 5% conversation, right? There's only 5% of motherfuckers that's really going to make the decisions. The other 85, I just need y'all to do what y'all regularly do. Or in concert with what I'm trying to get us to get done.
Yeah. But either it requires you have to be able to deliver a sufficient enough consequence. You're talking about changing behavior, right? And I agree with you wholeheartedly that we spend way too much time on trying to change people's minds, trying to change the way people feel, trying to change their particular ideals. Nah, I don't need you to change what you think. I personally don't give a shit what you think. I need you to change how you behave. And if you're going to change the behavior, you got to be able to deliver a sufficient enough consequence. If you're going to change the behavior without them truly wanting to change their behavior, the only way to do that is to be able to deliver that consequence. It is my opinion that if we can come together enough to deliver a sufficient enough consequence to cause the United States government to change their behavior, their practices, their addiction to finances and greed, then we could change everything about how we behave within our own communities too. I think it's going to have to start with this singular identity first. Who are we? What is it that we want? Do I love myself and you enough to be committed to that? And if we can figure out who we are, what we want, and get to a place where we love ourselves enough to be committed to that as a collective, shit, it ain't nothing we can't do. Nothing.
Hey, I get it. Right? My old man used to say, man, as long as you keep shooting, you never know if you lost or won. You just got to keep playing. You know what I mean? But to Celine's point, this is level of subservience to where we're not even trying to play. You know what I mean?
Is there a way to impact the government without overcoming said subservience? I don't think there is.
I think there is. And I think it's about who and how many, right? So we got to be honest, man. Like Martin Luther King changed the world. That's real shit. You know what I mean? The civil rights movement changed the world, right? You talk about when King came to Chicago, black people didn't want him here.
Right.
Specific.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But there was enough people rocking with King that he had a big enough impact to legitimately affect legislation and policy. Like that was real shit. Like we wouldn't even be talking about immigrants if it was not for the civil rights movement because their asses wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be a possibility. That opened up the door for immigration. You know what I mean? But black people specific, when he came here, they was like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
You understand? So it wasn't
don't come up here and disrupt our comfort. We have found a small piece of comfort up here within this dysfunctional system. Please don't bring that rah-rah shit from down there up here. We're comfortable in the way oppression works up here.
Yeah, and it's about changing your perspective. So Raymond Hubbard has become interesting to me. He said, without capital, you always be left out the loop. And then he goes down and he says, America's for sale because, I'm sorry, I just lost the comment again. Hold on. It says, America is for sale because we own the deeds. We don't own the deeds. Maybe I'm reading that out of context. But
I think he's talking about the land in general. But
yeah, I fully grasp that, right? But again, this is why I talk about that can you whoop my ass though, right? Gumption is a motherfucker, right? The white man owns most of this planet. He ain't buy that shit.
Right.
He G'd it.
Right.
He gangstered it.
Right.
Right? So when we always talk about this capital. If you got money, you good. If you got money, you this. If you got money, you that. If a motherfucker with a gun is standing in front of you and says, give me your wallet, who's in control there? The nigga with the wallet or the nigga with the gun?
The person with the gun,
right?
for sure.
So it's a matter of perspective.
But it was a lot of them on it. When they're going around conquering these lands and conquering these territories, it was a whole lot of them on it. It wasn't just a few motherfuckers on it. And I'm with you on the piece about what a few motherfuckers can do. But you talking about literally changing the way the United States government works and how they view themselves and how they manipulate their power. It's gonna take more than a few motherfuckers.
It takes not being afraid, bro. The human spirit is some amazing shit.
A lot of motherfuckers cannot be afraid.
The human spirit is some amazing shit. Let me tell you something. How many people flew them planes into them buildings?
Just a few.
How long have we been responding to that behavior? since 9/11.
Don't get me down that 9/11 rabbit hole. We got to take
But
a
my
break.
point is, 6 people changed our behavior for the last 20 goddamn years.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Dedication and commitment to an idea is some amazing shit.
But them 6 people came out of a pool of a whole lot of motherfuckers that was like, pick me to go fly that motherfucker into the building. I can't wait to get up there. You know what I'm saying?
But it's also about a culture.
Yeah.
It's a culture that says we so dedicated and committed to this idea.
Yes.
That we don't give a fuck.
Yes. And that can change shit. But it's a lot of the motherfuckers to be on that to create that culture. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into that conversation. This is I Said What I Said. Herb and Tou here with you till 6. We'll be right back.
WIIFTBPM. This is retired State Senator Ricky Hendon. This is my new song, Be My Christmas. It's on my House Party CD, produced by house music icon King Farley. It's available on my website, HollywoodHendon.com. And this is our new song, We Getting Lit. The album also has songs like Rona Money. Get the House Party CD in time for Christmas and New Year's Eve.
This is the king of house music, Farley Jack Master Funk. And I endorse Hollywood Ricky Hendon. Let's go to work.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
We have a very, very special guest, man, joining us on today's show.
Walter Beach, he's my godfather and one of 2 of the dopest black men I've met in my entire life.
This is how I always introduce myself. I'm black in attitude, I'm black in behavior, I'm black in belief and thought, and I'm African in spirit. I accept and acknowledge the fact of my African self being intuitively and have developed the cognitive strength to function as a black man in America. As an African black man, my hypocrisy manifests as silent rage. I must decide what my relationship to racism will be. Only I can say when and where I enter my manhood with quiet, undisputed dignity, without violence or special patronage, asking no quarters, and giving no quarters. When and where I enter, I take with me my people. That's what the sovereignty that Toussaint was talking about means to me. I'm a sovereign human being. And like he was talking about in that point that we made in Amistad when we was talking about, all of our species demands to be free. They may not have the power to prevent it, but they just demands it. And that's what they do. That's what the struggle is about.
Lord knows that I've been avoiding mirrors. Every time I'm in them, see the picture getting clearer. But I value life more, cause my death is getting nearer. When my mama tried to warn me, nigga wasn't trying to hear her. Pulling on my rag, telling me to lead the game. One shit up in the crib, so the streets is where I came. If I had a daddy, then some shit would probably change. But that wasn't what it was, so I kicked it in the Saints. Had a little squad, young niggas went hard. We believe what we was seeing, we ain't thinking about God. We was thinking about work, who we gon' stick first. Cause my mama ain't half for me to get it out of purse. Big Vic taught me how to hustle till it hurt. Big Maul told me Peter Paul said try 'em all. Lost my big brothers and I lost my first son. I ain't look up in the sky, put my back against the wall. If a nigga try me, he gon' feel it. I got a lot of pain, I've been trying to hold it in. I've been running from the pen, but it seemed like the only way for me to make it out is right about just how a nigga made it in. I had to be ruthless, couldn't have no remorse. I couldn't stay on that path, so I had to switch course. And the source was in me, cause it forced me to be everything I became in these streets. Lord knows I'm a product of the projects, and I took a lot, now I make deposits. Hella bones in my closet, I ain't here to bet my soul. If a nigga fuck with me, then I'ma put him in the hole. Lord knows I'm a product of the block, but the block don't define who I am. I'm a man, and if you ain't been where I've been and made it out, then I don't think that you could ever understand. Lord knows life is heavy on my heart, but my shit it keep pumping, that's just how I'm built. Remembered I suffer from guilt, cause I wasn't on the block when my nigga got killed. I figured if I was, then it could've been me, but I learned from all that, cause my growth has been the key to me opening the doors I ain't think I get to see. Now I'm at an age I never thought a nigga get to be. I'm an OG, best believe I earned stripes, did enough dirt, some could've cost a nigga life. Now I'm living like a square with the kids and the wife. I don't disrespect my blessings, cause I never think twice, but niggas better know I keep one up in the pipe, but I ain't talking about the label. Started out trapping, now I get to say grace. Either way, I ain't gotta save face, cause I still found my place at the table. Lord knows I'm a product of the projects, and I took a lot, now I make deposits. Hella bones in my closet, I ain't here to bet my soul. If a nigga fuck with me, then I'ma put him in the hole. Lord knows I'm a product of the block, but the block don't define who I am. I'm a man, and if you ain't
and being where I've been and made it out, and I don't think that you could ever understand. Lord knows.
Welcome back. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Herb Howard, Tucson, want to hear every single weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. Thank y'all so much for choosing to take part in intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. Look at John Cooper getting fancy with the emojis or the headphone speakers. Bang, bang, bang. Appreciate the stars, too. Thank you so much for sending the stars, John. Appreciate the stars from you as well, Juliet. Shout out to Juliet, man. It's my sister. We co-host another show together for the Black Star Project.
Hey, I want to read something real quick to exemplify exactly where I stand in all of the totality of the context of all these conversations, whether it be vaccines, whether it be food, whether it be education, all of it in regards to like how I deal or view white supremacy.
Okay.
And you'll know this one once I start reading it. It says, Tupac of my generation, blue pill in the fucking matrix, red rose in the gray pavement, young black nigga trapped that he can't change it. No, he a genius. He just can't claim it because they left him no platforms to explain it. He frustrated, so he gets faded. But deep down inside, he know you can't fade him. How long should I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meets preparation? I need some real nigga reparations before I run up in your bank just for recreation. It's dedication. Hard work plus patience. The sum of all my sacrifice, I'm done waiting. That shit is brilliant, G.
Run it back. Just run it back.
That shit is brilliant, right?
Well,
and it exemplifies exactly where I stand in the context of all of these conversations, right? So whether we use the theory of I got to have enough money to play the game or, whether we got to commit to changing government, the point is at the space and place I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I feel trapped and I'm tired of fucking waiting.
Yeah. How long should I stay dedicated? How long
run up in your bank?
Need preparation?
That's it.
I need some real nigga
before
reparations.
I go take your shit, because I'm coming to take your shit eventually.
Just for recreation.
It's that real, G. Don't get no realer than that, right?
That comes from
Tupac
a song
of my
called
generation, blue pill in the fucking matrix, red rose in the gray pavement, young black nigga trapped and he can't change it. No, he a genius, he just can't claim it. No, he a genius, he just can't claim it because you left him no opportunity, no platforms to explain it. He gets frustrated, so he gets faded. But deep down inside, he know you can't fade him.
So I know I'm a genius.
How long should I stay dedicated? How long until opportunity meets preparation?
That's what they say luck is.
I need some real nigga reparations before I run up in your bank just for recreation.
It's dedication.
If that ain't the black male experience.
Hard work plus patience.
That's the black male experience right there. This is what the fuck it is.
Hey,
I'm coming to get my shit, man.
Hey, man. Nip is one of the coldest. I don't care how small the sample size of, his mainstream work. He got a lot of other work. And that project in and of itself, just Victory Lap in and of itself, is one of the best albums I've ever heard in my life. And I was screaming, I was screaming that way before he died. That whole year, since the album dropped until he died, I was bumping that like every single day. That album is a work of art. It's a masterpiece. And that particular verse, it comes from a song called Dedicated off Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap album. If you're not in tune with that song or that album, do yourself a favor and listen to it on whatever platform.
One of the best albums that came out that year.
We can
One of the
always
best albums that's ever
listen,
come out.
but that's
That
just
joint was
what
cold.
See, that's what I don't want us to miss the fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
We could champion Nip all day long,
Mm-hmm.
but the reason why the world champions Nick is because he was able to articulate the frustration that the black male is experiencing daily.
And it's necessary.
Right? And I don't want to say this in a way that we minimize Nip, but he just was the conduit in which the story got explained. The story is in everyone.
Yeah, but you need that medium. Some people
Right.
can get that medium
I'm not
from
denying
James
that.
Baldwin. Some people can get it from
We've heard it before, right?
I'm not denying that. Right? He just said it. I'm the Tupac of my generation.
Right.
Tupac was the same fucking way.
Right.
Before
Right.
Tupac, who the fuck? It might have been Marvin Gaye.
Right.
Right. Before that, and that's just
What's going on?
That's just in the musical genre. My point is, this is the black male experience. Right. Think about how much of that shit is real. Right. I'm a genius, but I can't say shit because they left me no platforms to explain it.
Right.
We get frustrated, so we get faded. How many motherfucking dope fiends you know that are fucking brilliant? How many alcoholics that you know are fucking brilliant because this system is robbing us of our humanity?
Yeah, they knew they was brilliant. They couldn't claim they was brilliant because then nobody give them a platform to be able to show their brilliance.
So
I get frustrated.
We're frustrated
Now I just
because
get
I'm
drunk
not
and high all
able
day
to maneuver through
because
this society.
Why not?
Right? I'm failing. I got all this information. I got all the shit that you say I need to have to be successful. I'm living in motherfucking Chatham, and I can't take care of my woman and my son.
Right.
So I look for escapism through dope and alcohol.
Right.
This ain't a new fucking story.
Nah.
Right? But at the end of that
That's
story.
why it resonates.
That's why it resonates. But at the end of that story, what he speaks to is some shit that we always fall off in the story about. The part where he gets down to, I'm in need of some real nigga reparations before I run up in your bank just for recreation. The gumption part is where we fall the fuck off. We stop right at the goddamn, we get faded. We stop it, I get faded. We drop out of the system instead of trying to dominate the motherfucking system. And therein lies the context of where the conversation is shifting. There's no value for your ass no more, so you can't just drop out. Because ain't no dropout no more.
But that's
it's
why
erasure.
That's
So
why
now
the
it's-
song is called dedication, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to be committed to this thing for the long haul. It's dedication, it's hard work plus patience. You know what I'm saying? You got to be completely dedicated to this thing. It's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's going to take time. You got to be patient too.
So again, the shit sums up the experience whether it was born in 1818
it's the same.
or 2020.
It's the same. It's brilliant.
Right? But the last part of the shit is I'm finna run up in your shit.
Shout out to
Period.
Bump.
Fuck all
Shout out
this
to
other
Bump.
conversation. Fuck all this why shit. This is where I'm at. I'm about to run up in your shit. Now, that changes the context of everything. Because that's that offense. That's that stay dangerous shit you talk about.
Yeah.
We ain't, fuck the defense. We ain't
Yeah.
responding to defense
Yeah.
no more.
You used to say stay,
Ain't
not
no
stay
room
dangerous.
for no more fucking defense. I'm shooting
Ain't
now.
no point in playing defense, nigga. That's why I dove off the deep end, nigga, without a life jacket.
That's all that's left. It's time to dive off the deep end.
Yeah.
Without a life jacket, because ain't nothing else left.
That's also from that same Nip album too.
Yeah, but that's real though.
Yeah.
Right? And I've been, that's my favorite verse from this album. I've been a Nip fan for a long time, but the reason I've been a Nip fan is because he's been able to articulate that frustration. It's the same reason why I was a Pac fan. This shit ain't about, and not to shit on anybody who's listening to music for whatever they listen to it for, but I gravitate to those kind of messages. Right? And in that articulation, it's the same shit that makes Malcolm X valuable to the culture. It's the same shit that made Minister Farrakhan valuable to the culture. He speaks to a level of masculine energy that we don't readily see. It's that shit that makes us valuable to the culture, but it's not harnessed by the vast majority of us, right?
No.
And what the system does is it cripples that energy from the black male space, and it elevates this beta attitude and makes that the standard. And the beta, not to knock a beta because they got a value too. You know what I mean? But the beta ain't gonna threaten the power structure because he's comfortable in his space and place. It's the same argument. I just see Ready Rock and said, bury me with my ancestors. It's the same argument with the goddamn Black Panther story, right? And you see in our communities, there were several people who's like, man, I fuck with Killmonger. And then a lot of motherfuckers was like, well, Killmonger was a dumbass.
Right.
I fuck with T'Challa, right? And therein lies the argument back and forth, right? That's the back and forth argument.
Yeah.
But in this moment in time, there's no room for defense, right? They're trading water on the motherfucking NASDAQ.
Right.
They're feeding us poison every day.
Right.
We scared to take a fucking vaccine because we really don't fucking know.
Right.
Right? So whether if it's death in the atmosphere from the COVID or it's death behind the vaccine, we don't fucking know.
Right.
Because what we do know is death is waiting. That's what we do know. We so goddamn insecure with our position in the planet that all we can bank on is death is looming. And when death is the only thing looming, it's just like any other fucking animal that's trapped. He's going to fucking attack.
It's another verse on that album. Nip says, see, it's a couple niggas every generation that wasn't supposed to make it out but decode the matrix. And when they get to speak, it's like a coded language. Reminds niggas of their strength and all their stolen greatness. We used to shoot at niggas at the mobile station. Full circle mogul motivation. My self-educated, shrewd negotiations got these sharks that I'm sitting at this table with afraid to bait me. Like, it ain't gonna be this thing where it's like everybody gonna see it. It's a couple niggas every generation that wasn't supposed to make it out but decode the matrix. Like, it's only a few that's gonna see that shit like that. But then how do you then use that thing as motivation to get everybody involved? To be able to sit at that table with all those damn same sharks and be like, nah, they scared of me, right? I ain't scared of y'all. Y'all scared of me. I wasn't supposed to be here, right? You was born to fucking be here, literally. And I think that we got to be able to tap into that shit, right? Remind niggas of their strength and all their stolen greatness. That's where we need to be on.
And I don't know if it's motivating everybody. I think it's finding your tribe.
Right.
It's finding your tribe.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the 17 men that took over Cuba. It's finding your tribe. You know what I mean? I think conversations like this open up the door to finding the tribe. I think we need to leverage these conversations and, you know, the book club, and all of that shit matters. All that shit plays into the conversation, right? It's raising our children in certain capacities to think and breathe and live life in a certain manner. You know, I think Brother Lance brought up a conversation when we was here, and he's like, he broke the children in our community down to 3 different cycles. And I don't know the names verbatim, but one he called the activist child. Okay. You know, and that was the one that resonated with me. That was the one that stayed, at least in my memory. You know, and he said they were raised in a certain way to see value in their community, right? And then seeing that value in their community, their whole plight in life becomes to how do I leverage the resources that I've accumulated to bring back to my community to you know, essentially make investments in my community. Whereas those other 2 monikers that he had attached to those kids, both of those kids was found ways to reject the value in their community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, and I'm not saying that changes, right? I don't know if that changes ever, but those activist children, those ones who do find that value, that's the tribe I'm looking for. And then leverage that tribe with non-traditional means of going against the U.S. government. And I mean that in this non-traditional in the sense that not coming in a subservient kind of a way. Right? Hence, the ADOS conversation changes the context, right? It changes the conversation of reparations to an ask to a demand.
Right.
And here's ways to demand it.
Right.
But we got to align ourselves with those belief systems.
No, we have to. And you hear people, you know, broaching this, even the reparations conversation from a place of being of an asking place, like we asking for somebody to do us a favor, and you hear that in many forms. Some people will just say we got to ask for it or whatever. Some people will say things like, "Oh, we need it should come in the form of a low interest loan." Like, nah, it shouldn't come in nobody's loan, right? It's a debt owed. We're not asking you for no favor, right? If I'm borrowing something from you, I'm literally asking you for a favor, right? Do this for me, I get it back to you. Nobody's asking you for a favor here. Run me what you owe me. That's what the thing is. And you know, for us to not understand that even at this point, again, speaks to the work that is to be done in terms of unifying and coming up with a collective agenda for what it is that we are asking. I do think that is extremely valuable for you to find your tribe and get with those people and get to work. I do think that is why, you know, I appreciate this I Say What I Said platform and being able to have these conversations and the people who consistently show up here to have this conversation with us and actively engage in building this thing, right? We start talking about a book club, they fucking build the shit on the spot. Like, okay, cool, let's go ahead and build it. Let's get it popping, right? That's because we found our tribe and other members who see this thing anything like us, right? Other like-minded individuals, just like I said at the top of every show. The more like-minded individuals we can get, the more we can do. And so I'm very, very excited about the possibilities that can be born just out of this Iswis platform. Like that type of stuff, the book club, I think ultimately we can do some gardening, things like that, right? I know some of the complications I saw DS was saying earlier, can we even have year-round gardens in a climate like Chicago? And Audrey was like, well, what we can do greenhouses.
In a greenhouse,
right?
you can.
You know what I'm saying? There's all sorts of stuff that we can do if you are in your tribe and motivated by the right people and motivating them just the same. So I'm excited about the opportunities. I'm excited about the things that we can do just from this conversation. We say all the time, this ain't about just me and you having a conversation. It's about us trying to actually build something. And we got a bunch of people who are aware that there are some problems in our community and in some way, shape, or form actively involved, engaged, in overcoming them. We come together, we can do all kinds of shit, right? I think the book club is a phenomenal place to start. Other places will come in next. We got to get the education piece, but we have those people in our village. We got Beulah, we got Shanita, people who are super passionate about education, right? We got the doctors and like we got the shit, right? We got our little tribe. Let's get to work, expand this tribe, grow it, and that's that's the motivation. That's what keeps me like inspired to keep rolling. That's what keeps me inspired to just like fuck. And also the fact there's no other option other than just waiting for the slow death, and I ain't rocking like that.
But it's gumption too, right? I put gumption at the top of that totem pole for me. I put gumption before education. I put gumption before training. I put gumption before all of that shit, right? Mm-hmm. And I put that there because how we are controlled in this system right now is via fear, right? And to overcome that fear, it takes a level of gumption. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Regardless of the conversation, I think, a minute ago I was telling you about some stuff that's about to happen in the city in the next month or two.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was telling you, some of the participants in that conversation.
Right.
Right. And I said, in order for me to go to the top of that conversation, I damn near have to be as outrageous as I possibly could be.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
and that's exactly what the fuck I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Right. Because my commitment is not to the same. I'm not committed to the same God that they committed to. Mm-hmm. And I know that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So gumption is a powerful tool. And, a lot of times we talk about masculinity and manhood specifically. I know we got that kind of moniker and branding on us. But, again, I believe, Salim, too, and I believe that the future is female. We're moving into this feminine energy, right? And in that feminine energy, in a lot of ways, I don't want to say subservience because that's not the right word, but that energy doesn't necessarily harness that level of aggression like masculinity harnesses that level of an aggression.
Sure.
Right? So as we move into these changing times, because the universe is legitimately changing, right? Just the energy of the universe is changing. You know what I mean? And it's like, how do you balance that out? How do you make the most of the opportunity you have in the midst of the change? I don't know those answers, but I know the capacity in which I operate in, and maybe my spirit is here for a limited time, right? Maybe my spirit is here to spark the flame for whatever that next guy is gonna mold to go forward. But that's what I have uniquely to offer to the conversation.
In that way, then your spirit is here for the long haul. Your body might be here temporarily, right? Even your platform might be here temporarily, but in that way, if you're talking about motivating the next person who's actually gonna, the old Tupac, I might not change the world, but I guarantee you I spark the mind that will, right? Like in that way, your energy and your spirit is ever present and everlasting. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just think that even if we talk about the future being female, right, in terms of, positions and hierarchy and all that, like that's perfectly fine. One, right? Most of the women that I know are responsible and fearless and intelligent, right? And not whatever. I'm cool with that, right? But it does require, it does have to be accompanied by a level of masculinity, and it has to be accompanied with the gumption. But I see that all the time, again, from a lot of the same women that, in my life personally, but, that we talk to here on I Say What I Said. I believe Ready Rock is down for whatever the fuck jump off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the energy that I get from her all the time. And so, female or not, I think that energy, as long as that energy accompanies it, we'll be straight. Like, probably better positioned than otherwise.
So what's the Patrick Henry quote? The "Give me liberty or give me death."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the anchoring point of which America was built on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, and even when we think about it in context, right? The early settlers to America, at least from England, were outcasts from England.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They were the poor and decrepit from England,
Mm-hmm.
and they just said, fuck this shit, fuck this shit.
Right.
That's a powerful statement.
But
I'm sick of this shit.
Ultimately, that's all it takes. That's. We talk about had it up to here. Okay, have we really? Right. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
And
that's
then what?
really all it takes.
What you
I
gonna
am
do?
sick of this shit.
Then what you
Period.
gonna do?
You can go to school and get your ass bullied every day for 3 years. The morning you wake up like I'm sick of this shit is when that bully about to get his ass beat, right? Or at least he about to get his ass stolen on. He might get his ass hit with a tray. You might fucking stab that motherfucker in his eye. You just had enough of the shit, right? And it's like, oh, what happened? He went crazy. He stabbed the dude in his eye. No, dude been fucking with him every day for 2 years. This morning he said, I'm sick of it. Now, I don't know what triggered it. I don't know what led to him finally having enough, but he had enough. And one can only hope that we've had enough.
So Ready Rock asked the question. She says, with that too, can we put to death the angry, aggressive black woman?
Ooh.
I didn't birth her. So
I didn't birth her, so I can't kill her?
I can't. That ain't on me. You know what I mean? Just like it ain't on me to fix white supremacy. I
You
didn't
know
birth
what she
that
mean.
shit. No, I don't. I mean, I'm being honest. I didn't birth her. White supremacy birthed her too. That ain't my job. You know what I mean? That's some shit you got to take on. You all got to take on if that's something you believe in. You know what I mean? It's a moniker that I didn't attribute to y'all. You know? It's a moniker that most of us that I know don't attribute to y'all. Not that I know of. I don't see black men in our conversation saying, hey, man, they all angry. And maybe that exists somewhere, but that's not in my context. You seeing yours?
What?
That angry black women conversation?
No, I don't subscribe to that theory at all.
Right. I didn't birth it, so it ain't on me to take it away.
I don't subscribe to no like general. I hate generalizations. Like generally speaking, it's bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So no, I don't do that. I know.
She said, I
right.
do
You
know.
do know, right. I'm like, you know exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah, slid right about it.
Slip that joint like Mayweather. We gotta take we gotta take a break. When we come back, man, I want to find out what other things do you think that we can put on the short list of things that we can do, just as a Iswis family, like just short things that we can get done in terms of whether that's talking about the book club or some gardening shit or some education shit or even like just fucking Salim talks. I want to talk to Salim, man. Like, or just that kind of stuff. We can actually get together was like on some real stuff, right? Like not necessarily on air or the broadcast or whatever, but like be able to do some real things. I think that there's a real potential for us to be able to do that if we are committed to it and tap into that energy. I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, we can think about it.
Cool. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this.
WIIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Traffic jam fam, you know it. I'm from the middle of the map. I get around, I've been there and back. Born in Gary, Indian, just to be exact. Got family in the go and family in the nap. Same shit everywhere, saw it in the A out on Old Nat. Sucker free suckers can't take the heat, nah they gon' rap. Big dumb cats, big guns clap. Another brother that. Tired of fuck shit. Wanna take a nap. I'm a dog on these chicks, just a different cat. Must make at least a M to make an impact. May just paint the Benz matte black. Fresh head to toe. Never wore socks that didn't match. Cause I'm from the middle of the map. Yeah, I'm from the middle of the map. I'm from the middle of the map. Nigga, I get around. I've been there and back. Yeah, I'm from the middle of the map. I'm from the middle of the map. Yeah, I'm from the middle of the map. I get around. I've been there and back. Check. I'm from the middle of the map. I get around.
Ron, who was that on the track?
Tony Stanza.
Going hard. I dig it. I dig it. I dig
Yeah, hey,
it.
that Tupac sample go crazy. You hear it?
Nah.
That's the I Get Around.
Turn it back up. Ask me if I hear it and then turn it off.
You can't even find it no more.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
It's in there. Yeah.
Sure. You hear it most from the start.
Yeah.
I dig it. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That came from Gino too?
You already know it.
Shout out to the plug. What Dawn say? She said, I ain't the plug. I'm the outlet? What she say?
I don't know.
I think it's the outlet. Outlet.
She say all power flows through me, fam. I'm supplying it.
I used to have all that music Gino got and more.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but now all the stuff that I got, them people learn how to make money off their stuff, so we can't play it.
Oh man, well Gino is the plug today.
Yeah, Gino got all of it. I was just thinking about that, but I gave Ron like a whole unreleased bump album that I know Chicago don't have, but they won't play it in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the song you played yesterday,
Making Bump.
Yeah.
I got like unreleased, like Bump's first album that nobody ever
Yeah?
heard. Yeah, I got that.
Not the Thoroughbreds album?
No. It's records that nobody ever heard. Yeah, I got that.
I remember they used to tip the Thoroughbreds album off the street. They used to stand right on 69th and Crandon. Thoroughbreds album had songs like We Lay That Chop Down, a couple other songs. But anyway.
I had the actual album that got shelved.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got that.
Dope. Dope.
We can't play it though. They won't play it. So you
Yeah.
know, I sent Ron like 8 songs. Nothing happened. You know what I mean?
You know, Ron is an interesting guy.
He's scared of Chief too. You know what I'm saying? He's scared of Big Red.
Don't he be shook.
Whatever Big Red say, Ron, fall in line. Ron ain't got that gumption.
When Big Red is here, Lil Ron act different. But I think he thinks that we be carrying that Big Red is here.
Yeah, he knows better than that though.
Yeah, I don't think he does because he used to have, like earlier he came out there like, okay, what y'all doing? Let's go. Like
Ron just feeling himself. You know,
who
he
are
didn't
you
get comfortable in the family. You know
Who
what
are you
I'm saying?
talking to, man?
He talk tough every now.
Good example, man. Just trying to make a good example.
See, like that. Like we asked him to talk like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Serafina got up. He talking about some, what you getting up for? Where you going? Sorry, that's all right. We're gonna talk to Lil Bro. It's all good. It's all good. Boosie, I saw you said something about me and Ruthie need to use our voices more. I'm a huge fan of Ruthie. I'm a huge fan of her energy and her spirit and how she views how she thinks we should approach this thing. I'm a huge fan of it. So I'm always down to work with Ruthie on that. I think we both are using our voices. We all need to be more intentional and more purposeful about exactly what it is we're doing, but certainly always down to work.
It's also, it's also increasing the viability of this specific platform. You know, I talked about not too long ago the power of having black media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's a difference between having black-owned media versus having black conversations on white-owned media, right? In a lot of ways, right, the media is responsible for the black population in Chicago. Like, we don't think of it like that, but when we start thinking about Robert Abbott and the Defender, right? The Defender, in a lot of ways, created the charge to move black people from the South to Chicago.
Truth.
You know what I mean?
Good point.
It was that reading of the Defender when that magazine would get south of the Mason-Dixon line and people was hearing about Chicago and the opportunities that they assumed was waiting for them in Chicago, which motivated them to create the Great Migration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that was all based on Robert Abbott leveraging Pullman Porters to distribute his magazines.
Yeah.
Well, his newspapers at the time, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know, Terrence Tomlin, one half of the bigs, used to work at the Defender. like an editor over there, big boss handling business over there.
Yeah, I worked there too.
Yeah.
For about a day, and I quit because Roland Martin
Couldn't
was my
cut it, huh?
boss. Roland Martin was
Roland
my
Martin.
boss, and I couldn't take that shit. You know, the ascots and all that. I was like, man, get your ass out of here.
I've had like maybe 2 conversations with Roland Martin. They've both been heated debates.
Well, I've had more than that.
Like, man, fuck what you talk about. Debates.
So he's from a alpha chapter in Texas that I got some relationships with. And every one of the brothers that I know from out that chapter, they all are doing very well financially, but in regards to like their perspective and their approach to the world, they just really not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I met him first, but I built some long-lasting relationships with some other dudes from out that same school.
How necessary do you find it to be that we kind of bridge those gaps between, because there are people who, you know, have platforms, have some level of power or influence, but from our viewpoint don't necessarily have the best interests for the collective in mind. Is there a necessity to extend the olive branch, if you will, or find a way to tie those two groups in together, or do you just proceed without them like they on the other side?
Me personally?
Yeah. Well, not for you personally, but I mean for the good of the movement.
I look at most of them kind of cats as opportunists, right? So they're gonna go wherever the opportunity lies. You know, you think about Barack Obama when Barack Obama was the president of the United States of America. If you think about that time, there was a lot of opportunity for black political voices, black pundits, black media people. They were everywhere, right? And the minute that Barack wasn't around no more, those white companies didn't have any desire or any need to communicate directly to black people. They got rid of their ass, right? So it was a whole bunch of black media folks in that time that we don't see anymore. You know what I mean? And I think in context to the conversations that they were having around Barack Obama was mostly nut hugging. You know what I mean? And those who opposed Barack Obama in the moment kind of got
hugging.
Yeah, they dispersed to those people, right? Tavis was like, fuck dude, get his ass up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Cornel West was like, yeah, I got some questions about dude, get him the fuck up out of there. Right? So they got rid of them dudes. So I think that in essence, they go with whoever's the winning team or whichever team is looking most viable. You know what I mean? And that's cool. I don't got no knock against that. But I'm rooted in a different thing, right? I'm not rooted in how far or how much money or how much capital this can generate for me, right? I'm rooted in how would this create pathways for my kids to live a life worthy of living. Right. You know what I mean? How would this create a pathway for my community to grow and build something out of it? You know, how would I plant a seed so that, you know, it won't be that gray rose that red rose in a gray pavement no more. You know what I mean? How can we spark and boost this into a garden? You know what I mean? It's just a different mentality behind it. So the convictions are different. So whether I wouldn't necessarily extend or ask, I don't give a shit where you fit, you know. If you find yourself fitting, you're more than welcome. I'm not closing the door to you, but I'm not interested in what you think about it, to be honest.
Okay, I'm just curious because, you know, having, you know, such large platforms as some of those people do, whether you talk about the Roland Martins or you talk about Charlamagne, that's not to say anything about either of, you know, their viewpoints necessarily, for the point I'm about to make, but people do, you know, tune into that conversation, and so I think there at least becomes a need to wonder if it makes sense to figure out a way to connect those two viewpoints, if you will, right? Based off the fact that how loud their megaphone is, right? Hey, you're gonna keep yelling that. Let's figure out, if you're gonna keep talking through that megaphone, let's figure out what the hell we need to be talking about. What do you need to be saying in that megaphone, right? And again, you know, I think it does have a lot to do about, you know, black station versus black conversation on a white station, right? Those things are going to be delivered differently and from a different perspective and viewpoint with a different intended outcome.
So if you look at it like this, though, once Roland got moved off of TV One, right, he's basically a YouTube show too. Right now, his platform is larger than ours, but his platform is not large in the context of what the capacity of large is. You know what I mean? So we navigate to what's available to us. You know what I mean? And I think in essence, though, Truth is going to bring forth his own frequency and its own, followers, right? And I think when you get to that space and place, I'm not just looking for people to just show up. It's a difference between coming and those who are called. I'm looking for the called because they're going to be more dedicated to the cause. And that's what this is about. This is about critically understanding your position and your role in whatever the movement is. You know what I mean? And being committed to it fully, not just there as an opportunity.
Looking for those who are called. That's a good question. I want to know how do you know? Like, not know about other people, but how does one know about itself, right? How does one know in and of themselves that I'm called to a higher purpose, that I should be doing something else as it relates to this particular movement? We'll have that conversation on the other side of this break. This is I Said What I Said, Herb and Tou for another hour. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Milwaukee's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
What's up, good people?
Y'all go accept my request on the page. So
Why?
I can do
Why would we do that? Why would we do that?
I'm trying to do the survey.
Why would we let you in? Why would we let you on the? You talking about the Iswis book club page? No.
Nah, we're gonna let you in, Ron. You need to read. I'm with that. I'm definitely put you on.
Somebody please let Ron in the Iswis. Is it? I thought it was a public page. I don't know.
I don't run it.
I don't know who run it. You got to talk to Shannon and Robin and.
You say what? Y'all group private like it's something special or something.
First of all, it is something special.
Ass.
Okay.
There's something special. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And you gonna talk it again. Don't get no punishment again now.
Right. They already came in there like, look at her being nice to Ron today. It wasn't gonna last.
You always mess.
I think Asia came in like, for now, like just for a little while.
Just for a little while.
Just for a little while. Just for a little while. Somebody let that man in the page. Somebody let that man in the page, Robin. Please let him in. I Said What I Said, Herb and Tou, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
They say it takes a village to raise us, but who's to blame beside the ways of the world we made from? Raised around plates with razors, drug raids at night by racist whites that plague us, chase us and raise, so they isolate us and cage us, cause we engage interstate trades to generate paper. It's subliminal, our criminal nature, and rentals bending through the residential without a minute to waste. We never honor minimum wage in Section 8, that may never escalate tubs to escalate trucks. We know how to measure the road and the distance it takes to go and finish the race at a deliberate pace. At this rate, there's no way I can't make it today. To the day the state assembled they delivery case. It's so sinister these days, even the ministers pray. Our daily bread, give us this day and let us live in this grace. It ain't safe, watch your ways, drive bys on one way. That's how we raise. Hiding packs behind dumpsters, stacking for the summer. That's how we raise. Shorties don't act their age, it's babies, make it pay. That's how we raise. I gotta make it out this maze, it's made for me to stay. That's how we raise. I can't fault her for being a fatherless daughter, caught up in the slaughter that taught her she was just a baby mama. I can't call it, but I hear her pain when she talking, acting hard, when she's more fragile than a salsa. That's the cause of why she walks cautious. A dime in my mind, but can't see she's a salt buck. All struck by hard luck, she keeps her guard up. She wants no part of the heartless frauds that scar her. Seeking stardom just to fill the hole where her heart was. Far from the days when she longed to play a part. A star role with a name and stars. The front page opposing on a stage runway in Milan. Instead of rolling down the one way, baby in her arms and a stroller full of dreams that lay within her palms. A fatal fate from courting on short dates to civil court cases and child support pay. It ain't safe, watch your ways, drive bys on one way. That's how we raise. Hiding packs behind dumpsters, stacking for the song. That's how we raise. Shorties don't.
Monkey keep it funky, aight? Monkey keep it funky, aight?
Yeah. Smoking hard. It's the shit.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what a cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Little homie, I ain't worried about nothing. I'm good. Love that song so much, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios. My name is Herb Howard. My esteemed co-host, his name is Toussaint Werner. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. Thank y'all so very, very much for being a part of the conversation. We truly, truly appreciate each and every one of y'all. I know y'all could be doing something else. Like, whatever.
You could have been anywhere in the world,
But you
right
here with
here
us.
rocking with us.
And we appreciate that. Truly, truly do. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the conversation. As always, means a whole lot to us.
Share, like, and what else? Comment.
Smash that like button. Smash that share
Smash
button.
that share button. Smash that like button. You know what I'm saying? Go to YouTube. Smash that like button too.
Yeah, indeed. What's going on?
You asked me a question before we, went to break, and you was like, "How do you decipher between who's been called and who just kind of came?"
Oh, I was responding to Jerry saying, "I'm not trying to be homophobic, but I really don't care to hear from him."
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's referring to the Dr. Cleo Monago?
Yeah, I don't know who that is, so I'm not. James Baldwin was a homosexual, and I think he's brilliant. So I'm not gonna put that.
Not because of that, right?
Yeah, not because of that. You know what I mean? But a minute ago, you asked me how do you decipher between those who were called and those who just come, and I don't know if I have a definitive answer for that. You know what I mean? But one of the things that I do notice and one of the things that I do recognize is that most effective leadership usually wants to avoid being leadership. You know what I'm saying? The most effective leadership usually shuns the spotlight.
I ain't on that. I'm not trying to be in that space.
I'm not trying to be in that position.
Right.
I don't even want that title. I'm not interested in operating in that capacity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And most, I think there's a distinct difference. But you can tell the difference between those who just gravitate to the light because they're attracted to the light, right? And then there's a difference between somebody who just has that light on them.
Agreed.
It's a very big difference. And I don't know how you weed that out, but in my experience, therein lies the difference between those who need to be there and those who just showed up.
I think that, I think it's easier to see from an outside perspective. But I guess what I'm trying to figure out is how does the person know when it's within them? Right? I think it's easy to see when somebody's faking or somebody's an opportunist or somebody's trying to take advantage of a given moment or a given movement. But I think it can be a little bit harder to identify even within yourself. Like you might kind of feel like pulled to it a little bit, but identifying that, am I the person that should be, jumping out on this or jumping out on that?
Again, it's the difference between being called and just coming, right? So when you called, when you think about the story of King, for example, right? King was not next in line. You know what I mean? He didn't even have any interest in being in the line.
Right. I wasn't in the line anyway.
In a lot of ways, King came from black wealth of the time. You know what I mean? And he shunned all that to be in a position that he was in. And he was chosen for the position. He didn't choose the position. You understand what I'm saying? So if you read the story of the civil rights movement, you'll see that Abernathy had a lot of hang-ups with King because in his mind, he was next in line. You know what I mean? And it was a power struggle because, King was kind of ordained to become king. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if it was a struggle there, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was a positioning that King didn't necessarily want from the jump. It's just that he was the guy that was called to be there. And I think that speaks to his effect on the world too. I think in a lot of ways Malcolm is very similar. You know what I mean? When you start to understand the history of Malcolm and his involvement with the nation, there was a lot of other brothers who had issues with Malcolm's level of visibility within the nation, right? And if you read or watch any of the shows that's dedicated to his tenure with the nation, it shows the kind of humility he had to deal with because he never wanted to question what he deemed as his savior. You know what I mean? And I mean the system of the nation, not just Elijah Muhammad,
right?
But the entirety
The whole
of the
thing.
understanding
Right.
of Islam,
Right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he struggled with that throughout the duration of his experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think there's something uniquely different, and I don't want to just say those two people. But I think you can kind of shit Jesus. I mean, we can go down the line. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not trying to prove to you I'm Jesus. It's just I'm Jesus. You know what I mean?
Watch me work.
Watch me work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it just kind of is that thing. And there's a difference between, you're all right, Beulah just said it, the moment chose them. And the moment chooses people. Right? There's a lot of brothers out here that run down, chase ambulances and chase microphones, and they got huge followings.
That's what I was about to say.
But they really ain't shit people.
That's what I was about to say. I think the chosen don't compete, right? And obviously I don't mean they don't compete in terms of not playing the game, not trying to win the game. Obviously that's the purpose, right? But I mean they don't compete for the light, if you will, or for whatever the rewards or trinkets of being in that position are. I'm not competing for those things. I'm just being, right? And I think that I think you can kind of spot that person that is you're competing for something, right? You're competing for this, you're competing for that, you're trying to be this, you're trying to be that. It's like, nah, I'm not competing with you about shit, right? I believe this to be the best way for us to advance forward. That is my truth. That's the truth as I'm going to see it. That's how I'm going to move. And those who also see it like me, I want to move with them. And if we can influence other people to come and move that way, great. But either way, I'm not really competing with you for that, right? Because you start to find superficial bullshit ways to bring people into your way of thinking. And those don't necessarily lead to any progress for us as a whole, right? They don't necessarily yield any fruit. It's just, oh, we got more people picking from the wrong fucking tree. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that when you see somebody who is constantly chasing it, right, constantly chasing the camera, the microphone, the this, the that, the third, like, I question like Benjamin Crump, right? How the fuck are you at? Why are you at every single one of these things, right? Why are you everybody's lawyer for every single one of these things? I know there are more black lawyers in this fucking country, right? So why are you at every single one of these things? What are you trying to do for your own image, right? In your own, like, and how then am I in Louisville until then boom, somebody gets shot in New York, and then boom, then somebody gets shot in Florida. Now, like, and again, I don't know that man, right? I don't know his motives. But it does cause me to question it when I see you at every single one of these things. To me, that's like, why?
And he settled every single one of those cases. He's not tried any of them.
Right. No.
Right.
So it's not about accountability. We can get in here, we can make enough noise, we can put enough eyes on this thing, they can give us a bag, which ultimately means you giving me a bag, and I'm going on to the next one. I'm ambulance chasing, right?
So Nicole Rogers makes a great point. She says, I don't question him. I question the people that keep hiring him, right? And again,
they know he comes with that. He's going to get them to settle.
But I think it's just like anything else, though, man. When you're not in tune with the energy of whatever that frequency is for whatever you need it for, you gonna identify with what's popularized, right? And therein lies part of the sickness with American culture, right? We deal within popularized ideas. That's why I say the social context and social norms create our relationship norms.
Sure.
Because these ideas are popularized, right? So if you're not investigating and finding what your own story is or what you're interested in, you only gonna deal with what's popularized. So, but again, that's why, Jesus had 12 disciples.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's always an infrastructure to kind of uphold that trueness and that purity of these real people. It ain't for everybody. That's what I keep saying. It's not for everybody. It only needs to be a small circle. You know what I mean? It only needs to be a small group. Everybody's never going to align with the ideas, specifically radical ideas. And anytime you're talking about disrupting something that becomes normal, even if it's oppression,
It's quite radical.
the disruption of it is radical.
Extremely.
You know what I mean?
Especially when it's oppression.
Either
because
way.
oppression is so widespread and so intricate and so well laid out.
Yeah. So, anytime you have a radical thought, the vast majority of people are not going to align themselves with that thought process. It just isn't. Right? But you don't need the majority. You just need the dedicated few. You know what I mean? Do you start thinking about the United States Senate or the House of Representatives or just the totality of American government in contrast to how many Americans there are? That's a small group of people.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's a very small, and I'm talking about you could go down the line from president to that goddamn school board member. It's still a small group of people in contrast to how many Americans there are. You know what I mean? But they're making decisions, right? They're committed. They're dedicated. Well, we could talk about politics in general, but once you start to understanding like the interconnections between politics and business, even that conversation where we always talking about how capitalism plays out and I want money and this, that, and the third. When you start to really investigate the unique relationships between politics and business, you'll understand that these are cyclical rooms, right?
100%.
Every administration, it'd be the same motherfuckers in business attached to those administrations.
100%. Just like you were saying the other day with the names on the wall.
Yeah, the names don't fucking change, G. Right? It's probably a good 50 white folks in this city. Like if you really research their name, they're gonna be on every top board in the city of Chicago. Every fucking one. And I don't give a shit what administration comes in or goes out. They got to deal with these people and these boards. So these is the motherfuckers making the decision. It's really that simple. Nobody knows they fucking names.
Right.
The average Chicagoan don't know shit about these people.
Now you think it's coincidental that you keep seeing the same name on
so you done voted
so many
for
buildings all
Rahm
across the
Emanuel,
city.
you done voted for Lori Lightfoot. But it's these 50 motherfuckers that's telling both of them what to do.
Right.
Because they hold the purse strings.
Right.
You don't know none of their names. You know what I mean? But they're making decisions in your life right now.
No, it's always the people behind the scenes, right? It's always the motherfucker that you don't really see that's pulling the strings. And you looking at the current manager and it's like, oh, this the problem. Nah. Get rid of that manager today. Everything in here gonna be the same.
System gonna keep rolling, baby.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's been put in place. That is what has been laid out for you. That is what has been.
And we need to reimagine the system.
It's a masterful plan that has worked brilliantly, right? And I think a lot of times either the competitor in us or not wanting to say or the pride in us like calls for us to like discount how brilliant this shit has been. The whole entire plan of this American experiment for white people has been brilliant. From start to present day, it's been brilliant in terms of how it was planned. It's been brilliant in terms of how it's been executed. That being said, it's still very fucking fragile, right? But the brilliance comes in how you've been able to maintain something that is so fragile for so long, right? How you've been able to convince everybody else not to break this thing.
Every system in America is set up to uphold that said system.
Everything.
So
Everything.
Again, it's like I said, you being born in the middle of the ocean, you don't even know the land exists. You don't realize that it's something outside the system, which goes back to the statement I made where success is kind of a hollow goal. We just reimagine every game.
Everything.
Right. Winning the capitalist game ain't really a victory. Reimagine capitalism in totality. Right. Winning one championship ain't really a victory. Right. If I can get one, I can get two. But if you can get two, imagine I could change the way this game is played. I can change the way this game is thought about. That's something different.
This is as good a place as any to drop in a Neely Fuller quote. We ain't been hitting those as much lately, but until you fully understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else you think you know will only confuse you. That is everything that has been built around you to cause you to be in this ocean while you strive to reach for land. Everything else is telling you that land does not exist. Everything else is telling you this is where you ought to be. And until you let go of that, you will continue to think that way. There are other possibilities out there. We must imagine them, build them, and execute them. Since I said what I said, we'll be right back after this.
WIIFTBPM.
What's up, good people? This is Herb Howard, one half of I Said What I Said. Make sure you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on What's In It for the Black People Media. It is intellectual thuggery at its finest. The Blackest Conversation, Herb Howard, Tucson Warner, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on What's In It for the Black People Media. 1 to 3 p.m.
Hey y'all, this is Salim Muwakil from Muwakil's World. In case you missed the last discussion, this is what you missed.
There was a time when there was a large-scale mythology that African people had no endurance. We were only good for sprinting.
Right.
And that was our forte. Other than that, we were useless in marathon races. Establishing your patrimony on the land. If you bury the dead, that means that this land is forever in your family.
Who are our ancestors, really? We are the living ancestors to a whole genealogical line going back hundreds of thousands, millions of years that we carry within us living today. Everyone who preceded us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, however, that conception took place, whether it was violently, with rape, or whatever the case, but we are them living today.
That's why it's important to understand our capacity, man. Our capacity is unlimited. We have unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1 p.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Hey, you want to hear something that to the sight? You know what I found you last night. Just when Mama turned out the light. I went in the living room to see what the noise that woke up me. And I saw him by the Christmas tree. Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man and he's handsome like my daddy too. Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man and I found out. That's why I'm telling you. Mama must have met Santa Claus before, 'cause he started dancing all over the floor, and I fell asleep at the door. Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man, and he's handsome like my daddy too. Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man, and I found out. That's why I'm telling you.
So I had a conversation and came to the conclusion that there's only 3 Christmas songs that you need to have. If you got the
Snoop. Snoop is number one.
You got the Mariah Carey joint.
Fuck Mariah Carey. That's
the All I Want
trash.
for Christmas.
It's trash.
You got the Boyz II Men Let It Snow joint.
There you go with that Boys and Men bullshit again. Super trash.
You gonna cut that out. you gonna start disrespecting Boyz II Men up in here, fam.
Boys and Men bullshit. End of the road ass bullshit.
On bended knee ass niggas.
On bended knee ass niggas.
Make love to you, face ass. Look, and then it's one more song, and I forgot what it was. Oh, the Donny Hathaway joint. What is
I
it?
give you the Donny Hathaway.
This Christmas.
Yeah, but the best.
All the 3 you need. Put them on repeat
No.
for 3 months, and you Gucci.
I don't even like Christmas, but the Donny Hathaway I'll rock with, and then I gotta have Snoop, Santa Claus, coming straight to the ghetto. That's always
Snoops?
dope. Yeah,
Not James Brown.
Snoop and the East Side Riders. Yeah, and the East Siders. Yes, best Christmas song ever
Something
made.
about a 6'4" full of Crips bouncing down the street. Just don't do Christmas for me.
It makes Christmas all right for me.
6'4", 3 real motion. Just don't. It ain't.
Santa Claus is coming straight to the ghetto.
Bunch of niggas in chucks and flannels.
Yes, that's it.
It
Yep.
don't really scream
Snoop and
Christmas.
the East
to me,
Siders. It's
man.
hard. Yeah, I fuck with it. It's one of the best Christmas songs ever made.
Okay, man. I told you the 3 you need, man. from Thanksgiving to New Year's, all you need is the Mariah Carey joint, the Boyz II Men joint, and the Donny Hathaway joint.
Herb, you want to tell us something, man? Was you listening to Mariah Carey and the Boys to Men?
I fuck with Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men.
You
Heavy.
our old Betty D ass nigga.
Boy, I used to be in my room singing the
Hitting the highest note you can?
What?
Where her ODB had that song, you used to do that. Hi.
No, not the Mariah Carey joints, but the Boyz II Men joints
okay.
had them on cassette.
You was Wanye. Which one was you?
Definitely Wanye.
You just Wanye.
You got to do your head all crazy to be Wanye. He got like slight Parkinson's only when he sings.
He got slight Parkinson's.
Only when he sings. He can't not do that. I think
fuck all that.
I think like he was
stupid
like
to East Side.
I think he was like inspired by Stevie Wonder or something.
Maybe
when
so.
he learned how to sing, he just can't stop doing that shit.
Yeah, I've seen him do the slightly.
Yeah, Wanye can't. I don't know, but yeah, definitely.
Salute to them.
All the Boyz II Men tracks. Water Runs Dry, 50 Candles.
Yeah, I wouldn't know them. I wouldn't know the names of those tracks.
Man, you crazy.
Yeah, it was trash.
Run DMC Christmas joint. What they got?
Yeah, right after End of the Road, it was pretty much a rapper Boyz II Men for me. I couldn't take no more of it.
What?
Yeah. And the only reason the End of the Road got some burn to me because Cooley High's my favorite movie.
R&B just too soft for you, ain't it? Just
No, I fuck with R&B, just not that kind of R&B.
What kind of R&B you fuck with?
I hate to
DMX.
say it. I hate to say it because R. Kelly's in jail, but he named the whole album called
TP 12 Play? TP2.com?
No, it was not that I don't fuck with those songs, but it was what do you call that shit? It was like thug R&B. What do you call it? It was like a title of the record.
I'm just an R&B thug, babe, looking for some.
I need some of that. It got to be a little hood in it for me. I just can't listen to
just be
motherfuckers
straight
crooning.
You just feel hella soft when it come on.
Get this shit out of here, man.
Kales is definitely the top R&B musician of my lifetime.
Yeah, I can't take it.
And it's not up for debate.
I could take it like I go to a concert. Like I take my old lady to a concert and it's smooth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just on some me listening to that shit is not my thing.
So I heard there's a battle that's being set up. Well, first of all, E40 and
that's not my thing.
And Too Short gonna be next.
That's definitely not my thing.
But I heard that they doing Music Soul Child versus Anthony Hamilton.
But see, here's the problem.
That's something that you would be interested in or no?
I used to would have been, but Music Soul Child is a fucking fraud. Let me tell you.
In what way?
I booked that man to perform.
Oh shit!
Right? Because I was a fan of Music Soul Child. Like
you ran off with your front end money?
Not at all. But the man can't sing at all. At all. I'm talking about at all, G. Whatever they doing in that studio with him is amazing. It's magic. Because that man cannot sing at all. Let me tell you, in real life, I was like, nigga, how'd you making money?
Music? I guess not.
He's horrible.
Really?
Like the whole crowd was like, what is this?
Maybe it wasn't Music Soul Child. Maybe
it was him.
Maybe it was
everything. It was him.
Maybe it was Cole from Martin.
It was close. I thought they did the clone on me, but it was him.
I think them two niggas might be the same person.
They look close. But
what is his name? Carl Anthony Thomas?
I don't know his name.
Carl
but
Payne
music is a little bit lighter, a little bit shorter. And he got the bad eye. So it was him, and he could not sing to save his damn life. I was like, this shit is trash.
Wow, that's surprising.
It was very, very bad.
Wait a minute, Kelly ain't fucking with Stevie Wonder.
Who, R. Kelly?
Okay.
You know, I know we're not supposed to like R. Kelly.
Who not?
Just people.
Shit.
You know, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't rock with his music when he started hitting the little girls. It's just for me, I can't rock with it. But I can't deny. I also at the same time can't deny, like the boy is a musical genius.
Yeah, I don't gotta like that nigga, and I don't. And he's right where he belongs. Yeah. However, his music catalog is it's unparalleled by anybody outside of Michael Jackson, Prince, and Stevie Wonder. Other than that, I don't even want to. I'm not even gonna have a conversation with you about somebody having a better musical catalog than R. Kelly. I'm not even gonna have a conversation with you.
Yeah, you right.
I really think it's only him and Mike. Out of respect, I'll allow somebody else to be like, and Prince too, or Stevie Wonder.
So that's disrespectful because I think in regards to like musical catalogs, I think Mike was a greater performer, but I think Prince's musical catalog is more expansive than Mike's.
Okay, I got way too much respect to argue.
He's on the Mount Rushmore light skinned nigga, so you know I got to go hard for Prince. I got to go hard for Prince.
Right. It's like I feel about Tupac. Like I got way too much respect for Tupac for me to ever debate his place in anybody's list. But me personally, he never really did it for me.
I don't think he's that guy either, lyrically.
He never really did it for me.
But I think in regards to like his energy and his spirit, it represented something different. Mm-hmm. But in regards to like just being the dope ass rapper, like he was. I don't want to take nothing from him, but he wasn't like the GOAT of that shit.
Yeah, no. I respect it and salute it, but just for me personally, I don't really rock. But that's why I say my list.
Say Music Soul Child got doppelgangers like MF Doom. Yeah, because that.
I just think him and Cole look just alike.
I wish you was there because it would take someone like you to make me appreciate how bad that shit really was. Like that shit was like I couldn't believe it, cuz I was like, this ain't the same guy. It can't be. It was horrible. You understand me? Like we needed to create a new word for how bad that was. That sound like me at the crib.
That
like,
surprised me because I really like music, Soul Child.
Nah, dude is trash. And then I told my cousin, who is an R&B guy, like he can sing himself. Right. He's in that world. Right. And I was like, man, music was ass. He was like, yeah, he can't sing. I was like, you knew this shit? Like, why did you warn me? Like, this was horrible.
Yeah. Some people be great musicians. They can compose music, they can write, whatever, but not necessarily sing it themselves. But he's found a way to make it work.
I ain't mad. The music that he promotes is dope. I always rock with his music. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but I'm just saying, just recognizing the difference, right? Whatever he's doing in the studio and how he promotes it on the videos, it'll pull you in. But in real life, you be like, who is this guy?
Who is he? Make him stop it.
Yeah, make him stop. It's horrible.
That's why I always put my list. I say I don't say like my top 5, but like my favorite 5. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not here to argue with you about it. My favorite 5 rappers, Tupac ain't one of them, right? So I don't say best because whatever, best whatever. My favorite 5, Tupac ain't in it. Whatever.
I don't got a favorite 5, G.
I do.
I don't.
It's Big Pac. It's Big, J, Eminem, Jada Kiss, and T.I.
Yeah, see, Big ain't in my group either.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Big
I feel like you would have to either be a Big or a Pac dude.
I like both of them, but in regards to like the dopest, they not that.
Okay.
They're not. It's too many. Man, I hate how we disrespect like the
Black
likes
Thought.
of LL or the likes of Rakim or the likes of Cool G Rap or the likes of KRS-One.
I can only give you what I can give you.
No, I get it, but I'm in that era, right? The likes of Slick Rick, like we think about this, man.
I can respect
KRS-One. Not that he's a phenom or he's notable right now, but the fact that we still mention his name, this man, you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. Yeah. The fact that LL Cool J is still relevant, that's crazy.
Time out. Most people under 30 only think he's an actor.
I don't give a shit. He's just the fact that he's still in the lexicon. Sure. The fact that Will Smith is still in the lexicon is crazy.
Actor.
Either way, it's crazy. He got here via hip hop, right? So even when you start thinking about how we validate Jay-Z right now, a lot of the ways we validate Jay-Z right now is through his business acumen.
Sure.
So why the fuck we can't give the same grace to Will Smith?
There's people out here that love Jay-Z that don't know none of his music for real like that. That's a real thing. A lot of people love Jay just for his success and stuff right now.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that, when you start thinking about it from that perspective, you got to give the same grace to them people.
Do you hear Lil Ron?
Yeah, he's trying to show off.
He's trying to show.
Big Red.
Soon as Big Red walking here, Lil Ron wanted, Lil Ron. I would.
Yeah, Kim Pride makes it great. He said, if De La Soul ain't in the GOAT conversation, it's something wrong. And
that's why words are important. I don't say these the top 5 greatest or best. They're just my favorite.
Yeah, we just minimize them dudes. But I think in a lot of ways, right? And I'm a Jordan fan. I'm a huge Jordan fan. I'm a huge Mike fan. I'm a huge D Rose fan. That's mainly because of the attachment to Chicago that them two characters had, right? And they was great. I'm not taking away nothing from their skill set. They was great. But I'll never classify LeBron as being in the same conversation as Mike. And a lot of that I don't give a shit what LeBron did. He could walk on the moon. He wasn't part of that experience for me. You know what I mean? Right. So you're never going to get into that box for me. Right. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? So in that vein, like even Common, for example, like I said, I don't really had no favorite. But I always put Common in those top tiers. But I had experiences with Common. As Common's career was taking off, I was living in that world. You know what I'm saying? I remember backyard parties with Tone DJing and Common rapping on the mic. It just felt like you was a part of that experience. Yeah. You can't do nothing to make your musical career compare to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, but in regards to like Big and Pac, they both had a certain storyline that made them bigger than life. Big legitimately had one album. He died before that second album was released.
For sure.
Right? So in that, you already come to the conversation with this value asset that's really based on the narrative and not the music. So if I'm being honest,
I don't know about that though.
If I'm in the club, and I've not been in the club in a very long time, even outside of COVID, they play a Big record, it's gonna go up. If I'm in my car, I'm never playing a Big record.
Yeah, I dig that.
You understand? So it's a different thing. It's a different attachment.
I dig that.
Ron, you're looking very
I don't dig that.
Sweet here. What's going on, Ronnie?
I don't dig that, little Ron. What? What are you talking about? Respect me. Can you close that door?
Ron, did you just come here? Come here, Ron.
Anyhow, I think that, I don't know about hearing a big record in the club, but whatever. Point is that, some of them cats that you might put on your favorite list might not necessarily qualify for the greatest list, right?
That's real.
And
Joe Budden's one of my favorite lyricists of all time. People don't give him his due respect, but Joe could rap his ass off.
That's cool if he
all the clown shit he did on whatever them shows he was on was clown shit. But in regards to like putting bars together,
yeah,
that boy got bars, G.
I dig it. We're gonna take a break. When we come back from break, have about 25 minutes or so left in the show. This is I Said What I Said, Herb and Tou till 6. We'll be right back. Now we can break.
WIIFTBPM.
Minding our black-owned business. I have a good friend with us this morning. I'm so excited. Jonathan Swain is here. KimBarkBeverage.com. We tend to talk about business a lot. We both are in family businesses. Was this the plan? Because you are second-generation business owner.
Yeah. No, actually, I'll talk about it from my father's perspective, and I'll talk about it from my perspective. His perspective, he did not want me to be in this business. The liquor business has a sordid history. They call it a sin business. I mean, it's less that now, but it had a very sordid history. He didn't want me to do this. He wanted me to go off to school. My father was the first person to fire me at 9 years old. I was supposed to be at work at 11 o'clock, and I showed up 5 minutes late, walked me outside, and fired me. And I'll never be late again. So I appreciate him for that. I walked home. My mother said, well, what happened? I said, Dad fired me. What happened? I was late. He said, well, you got fired. You're late. You can't be late. Told you to get up and leave. My side of it, in many ways, I have a very unique rearing experience in that I've never seen my father work a job. So when I was born, my dad was an entrepreneur. Growing up, I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to be in business doing something, controlling my own destiny in some ways. In particular, my father's generation relative to us, there's not a lot of information transfer about how that works. And there's not a lot of context. It's kind of, I'm going to keep you away from the struggles I had so you don't have them. But in not seeing the struggles, you don't know how to get through the struggles. But as I've gotten older and we developed a relationship and talked about it, I began to understand a lot of the bumps and the bruises and the challenges and what makes entrepreneurship and business ownership not for the weak and weary. All the success I've had in business has been a function of with my parents. As fortunate as I am and people look to my business story, there is no business story but for them and what they did. I mean, my dad was the first black business owner in Hyde Park in the 1970s. Hyde Park, though it's in welcoming and inclusive now, wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stories that he would tell us about the challenges that he had being a black-owned business in Hyde Park back in the 1970s. That success comes from their legacy ultimately.
Funky, keep it funky,
West Side, Windy City in the city, empty Phillies, plenty fists to bring me, pitching pennies on tips with 20s. More than rapper music, in fact, it's the truth. With avenues with cash jabbing, stacking loot, moving sacks and shoes. Where the people be creeping deep in the evening, peeking out the priests peeking, but I seen them before they see me leaving. Chevy Regals, Grand Marquises, vans and Jeeps, Saran sandwich bags, plastic wrap gram stashed under the seats. It's getting scandalous on the land.
Welcome back, good people. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb Howard. I'm absolutely thrilled to be hanging out with you alongside the one and only Mr. Toussaint Werner. We call him the curmudgeon. We call him the pushback king. He says what he says all the time, and I appreciate it, brother. We're having a bit of a conversation that kind of just popped up on us about hip-hop list. And you said, who asked about the female list?
Nicole Rogers says, just for fun, guys.
Nicole Rogers.
Just for fun, guys. Can you all rate the top 5?
Is that what you think Nicole's voice sound like?
All time, for me.
Just for fun, guys.
Just for fun, guys.
Nicole, that's how you sound from now on. Just for fun, guys. Okay, top 5 female rappers of all time, just for Nicole. For me, hands down, you got to start with Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, City Girls, Lil Kim. No, I'm bullshit. So that's what I was about. That's actually a point I was about to make when you were talking about Big in terms of him only having one album. Lauryn Hill dropped the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That joint was so fucking raw. It's classic. She don't even drop another piece of music. She's top 5.
But she also had a career with the Fuji, so she was spitting bars way before that album. No?
Top five.
She is my number one.
Okay, cool. Are we good then?
Yeah, she's number one.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Lauryn Hill, I might have to bounce around with this for a minute to have my full top five. But Lauryn Hill, Lil' Kim is in my top five. Now I'm not. Let me stop bullshitting about that. I don't know. I gotta play
Lauryn Hill, Light, Latifah.
MC Light for sure.
Lauryn Hill, Light, Latifah, Rhapsody.
Lauryn
Hill, Light, Latifah, Rhapsody, and for me, a little bit unknown is the girl I was putting you on the other day from New Orleans. I can't think of her name just because I was finna say it.
I like that list actually too. I think I'm with all four of those. Definitely Lauryn Hill, definitely Rhapsody, definitely MC Light. Oh, Missy.
Yeah. So Gino said Rod Digger. I like Digger too in regards to bars.
Rod Digger.
But I'm trying to think of this girl's name, man.
Missy got to be in it for me. So I don't know. I guess whoever you about to name ain't in my top five. Well, she definitely ain't in my
she's an unknown in a lot of ways, but she can rap to me.
Eve Burgess, that's a good one. Eve is. Damn, I can't take no. I ain't got nobody to take out for Eve though, because I think my five is Lauryn Hill, MC Light, Rhapsody, Queen Latifah, and Missy. I don't got nobody to take out for Eve. I might disrespect Queen Latifah to get. But when Foxy Brown just don't got a lot for me.
Foxy had albums. Foxy had bars. Lil' Kim had albums and had bars, but that just ain't my cup of tea. I'm really irritated. I can't think of this girl's name, man.
Nicki Minaj is cold, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't deal with that though.
Yeah, but I mean, just in terms of rapping and delivering her verse on the track, Nicki be spazzing.
Yeah, it's just not my thing. I
Yeah,
can't deal with it.
I feel you, content or whatever, but Nicki be spazzing on some stuff. Mostly that was some years ago. I think for a few years I thought she was trash. But anyway,
Cash Down, fine. She's super fine. I give her that.
That counts.
She's super fine.
That counts. That puts stats on the board right there. That counts, Jack.
Cash Down is super fine. That's my newest baby mama in the mix.
What about Left Eye?
That's not a rapper.
That's not a. Okay, we'll leave that.
I'm irritated. I can't think of this. Gino says Shauna's still better than most rappers today. I agree. Shauna got bars too.
Lil Ron would agree too.
Again, not my thing though. Not my energy. But I think Light, Latifah. Who do we say? Light, Lauren, Latifah, all the L's.
Light, Lauren, Latifah, Rhapsody. And I said Missy while you were looking for.
And Missy was your other five, and again, I can't even think of my.
Although I really would like to get like Eve in my joint somehow.
Yeah, I ain't rocking with Eve. Eve married a white man, and she been talking down on black people ever since. I ain't putting her in my top nothing.
See, I separate people from their skills. I do it all the time. I don't have much good to say about Michael Jordan, except that he's the greatest basketball player I've ever seen in my fucking life, and I love the vast majority of the gym shoes that his company makes.
Well, that's two. That's two things that you got to say nice about him. So that's two. Goddamn it, what the fuck?
I'm saying. So, like, yeah, I can separate it. So the R. Kelly shit, I can separate that. It's real easy for me to do it, too. I put on the fucking music in my car, I'm like, this shit is cold. Period.
3D not T. That's her name.
Oh, that's right. 3D not T. You told me.
3D not T.
Right.
Yeah, she hard as hell to me. She can really rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got to check out. Now there's also. Was she singing? No, she was rapping. There's this. They do know how they do them coffee. What are they? Living room concert at the little coffee shop, or whatever they do them concerts. Them little
NPR little tiny desk concerts.
Tiny desk concerts, right?
You talking about the chick from here, the girl from here?
I don't know. Is she heavy
No
set,
Name?
dark skin? No, not No Name. Although she does fit the bill a little bit on that general description. But no, not No Name. It's another woman, G. Heavy set, dark skin, bars, dog.
I don't know
like
what it is.
crazy bars. I gotta look up and find it, but she was spitting.
I don't know what that is, but y'all need to get in tune with 3D Not T though.
Okay.
Like, and I rock with 3D Not T. Like, she's been she's a, I don't want to say local, but independent New Orleans rapper. She's been on the national stage for a long time, but she making money independently, and she just ain't going. So I'm with that too. But like bars,
Yeah.
bars.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Bars. But you can't take nothing from L Boogie though. L Boogie is the GOAT. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then people confuse like the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as the like standard.
Right.
You can go back to some of them Fuji's lines, and she's eating them dudes. You know what I'm saying? She was at the time at her height. She was eating like it was only about a good 10 rappers that she couldn't eat. You know what I'm saying? Like you put in my mind, I was putting her in the same kind of category as like a Nas.
Yeah.
Like bar for bar. Like
Now she
I still quote it today.
And I appreciate the at least triple threat that she is, right? I mean, she can rap, but she can also sing. She can also act. Like she is
in the height of her days, to me, she was hella fine. She's going off the deep end these days, but at the height of her career, she was bad to me.
Nah, she was super fine.
She was super bad to me.
She was so fine back then that I still apply it to her this day. Like I can not see her as not fine.
I hate that we publicly grading women based on their looks.
We're not.
You're right. That's you. That's me.
We're not. It's a simple observation. Like, you know, it is what it is. She is fine. She was fine as hell in Sister Act 2.
Mm-hmm. But again, so I know everybody else is hip to most of those other people, but 3D Not T is a new one for y'all. So if y'all haven't heard 3D Not T, take some time to go check out. She independent. She's hard. She got real bars. Dope. Real content to it. Ain't no just, you know.
What about Brad?
Selling pussy.
You didn't even mention Brad.
I'm not going to mention it, Brad. It's not my thing. You know what I mean? It's not my thing, man.
Why do you act like this, bro?
Why do I act like what? It's not my thing. Right? I got, you know, hey, man, I support it, man. It's more success to you. It's just not my thing.
Let me ask you another question. What's your favorite movies? Like top 5 movies?
My top 5 movies, they are old movies, probably. Like Cooley High is definitely number 1.
Cooley High is number 1.
Definitely number 1.
I can respect
definitely
it.
Number 1.
I can respect it.
Raising Victor Vargas. I'm a big fan of Raising Victor Vargas.
I don't even know if I've ever seen it. What? How old? Like 80s?
Victor Vargas, that's probably 90s.
Huh. Okay.
You know what I mean, Harlem Nights probably.
They want you to put in 3D Not T's name in the chat, so because I don't even know how to spell it.
Yeah, Harlem Nights probably.
I think it's literally 3, the letter D, and I think the Nate is Natee or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
3D Not T.
So Cooley High, Raising Victor Vargas,
Harlem Nights. I see you, Phil.
I don't know what's the one, Bronx Tale maybe.
Bronx Tale,
and then probably some B-level shit that wouldn't nobody know, like some
like
shit
Shotas,
like some. It's this dude out of Detroit. G, they got this whole series that they be doing, and I be loving every one of them joints. I can't lie, I'm that dude. You know what I mean?
Mine, I gotta go. Coming to America, number 1. Like, Coming to America is my favorite movie. I could put it on anytime. It's always gonna smack. Training Day is another one. Victor Vargas getting a lot of love in the comments. Kenneth and
Victor
B.
Vargas
Tom.
hard, G.
I gotta rock with it. Then I gotta see if I can find it. Coming to America, Training Day. The Negotiator, Heat, and then something like Stand By Me or like Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I like both of those movies when I was a shorty. Like a whole lot. I still like both of those movies. Rookie of the Year, come on right now. I'll sit down and watch it. Stand By Me too. I couldn't think of that movie earlier, but yeah.
Kids. I didn't mention Kids. Kids is another one. I know you ain't hit the Kids.
Scary movie?
Kids and Raising Victor Vargas and Cooley High for that matter. All them stories to me is
it wasn't a scary movie called Kids?
I don't know, but that's not the one I'm on. So all these Raising Victor Vargas, Kids, Cooley High, in a lot of ways, it's just kind of coming to age stories in the city. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They all kind of the same. you know. But in a lot of ways, like raising Victor Vargas kids and some elements of Cooley High, even though it's so dated, all just kind of had a semblance of how I was raised in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and how I kind of moved through the city at the time.
New Jack City is special. But then once I get into New Jack City, then I go down that whole list. Well, New Jack City, boys.
Hey, shout out to Philip Samuels for knowing the Detroit boys who created the Plug Love series. That
Plug
shit is
Love?
the greatest shit in the world to me. They got about 7 movies that they made out of the D. And them dudes be super, it's corny, but it's like watch About It, G.
Yeah, I definitely got to do some homework on that. Whatever. What was it called? Victor Vargas?
Brazen Victor Vargas.
I got to get on that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the Plug, what is it? Plug what? Plug Love.
Plug Love. But it's a whole bunch of series of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just a low budget dude. I don't want to say low budget. It's just a dude in Detroit, makes these independent films. Like he had Cash Doll in his first film before she was Cash Doll.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So all the Detroit people was in them. Cash Doll fine, G. She's so fine to me. I like it.
She got 2 mentions in 5 minutes about how
She
fast
gets
she
super
is.
mentions for me. I be liking that. That's
Yeah?
nice. That's nice.
Cash Doll.
Yeah, super hood, but I can rock it. I can still rock it.
Okay. Hey, work for you, work for me, man. I ain't tripping. Yeah, those but once I get into the Menace Society, South Central, Boys in the Hood, like that's just a rabbit hole. I can watch the movies all day, all of them. You know what I'm saying? You hip to the movies like Shotters though?
Yeah, I'm hip to
Shotters is a good one. It's another one called dang, the name is escaping me.
Boozy said, "Oh my God, my husband loves that Plug Love shit." I can't stop watching it. They just released something new too. I saw it on Instagram.
I gotta find out what that is.
But I'm addicted to that type of shit, right? I'm usually gonna go to the independent sources for everything first. Yeah. Like I'm gonna go listen to the independent music. I'm gonna go listen to watch the independent movies. Yeah. Like those spark my interest more than mainstream stuff. Most times,
big stuff. Yeah. No, I feel that piece. Brother to the Night gets me every time.
Love Jones,
good one. Bad Boys, all the joints. Although this last one, I've just recently seen it too. I don't know what took me so long to watch it, but it wasn't very good.
Man, he only gave us 5. Philip, City of God, Gene. That's
City
dope.
of God. That's
City
the
of
movie I
God
was
was
talking
dope.
about. That's the movie I was talking about when I was saying like.
Philip Samuels says Goodfellas. So Goodfellas wouldn't be my one. If I'm gonna pick an Italian gangster flick, the best Italian gangster flick ever made to me was Once Upon a Time in America.
Damn, I don't even know if I seen that one.
Once Upon it's long as shit, but it's hard as hell.
What about like American History X?
I seen that. That ain't my
curve
thing.
Shit.
Yeah, that ain't. I can't. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one though. On the Italian shit, I like anything Robert De Niro, anything Al Pacino, Joe Pesci too. Joe Pesci is like you talk about people who are like
The Irishman was hard.
pigeonholed into a specific role. Nobody has ever been pigeonholed more into a specific role than Joe Pesci. Like nobody. And there'd be a lot of cats to be the same person in every movie, but Joe Pesci is the same person in every movie. He's the little, small, tough-ass Italian dude. No matter what he's doing. I don't care if he's My Cousin Vinny lawyer or if he's fucking, like, he's the same all the time.
He made a career out of it. I ain't mad at it.
It works for him, man.
You know what I mean?
It works very well for him. I would grab this telephone and beat the brakes off your motherfucking ass. Like, he's that dude all the time. First hole I dug, he's the same dude all the time. I love Joe Pesci.
But yeah, man, you need to check for gangster flicks. You gotta check out Once Upon a Time in America. The Irishman they just came out with too was a pretty good movie too. I ain't gonna lie, it's long as hell, but I like The Irishman.
You had to fucking around and start a fucking movie club.
But I ain't into movies like that either though. I don't watch movies like that. So
Heat was probably the best crime thriller out there. I love Heat. I think it's the best shootout scene ever is in Heat. When the last bank they robbed, when they come out there and start getting it clapping in the middle of broad day downtown LA, best shootout scene ever.
I don't even remember it.
Man, it went down.
Yeah,
and it went down for like 20 minutes.
I know. I see that shit for me. Like I can't. I'm more into the stories. I ain't into.
No, the story was fire, G.
No, I get it. I'm saying, but the scenes like they was chasing. I ain't in.
This particular scene is just so cold, dog. Like it was so the sound of it. I watched the behind the scenes. And they was talking about how they had to train. Val Kilmer and Robert De Niro and them had to train for it for so long. And then once you go back and watch it again, you can see the stuff they trained for and how they was surgical and masters of them weapons. Man, that scene is cold as hell. The shootout scene in Heat after they robbed the last bank. Best shootout in the history.
There's some Chicago independent films that people sleep on too that they got to see, man.
Such as what? The Awakening. No bullshit. No,
Nah, it was
I used to love The Awakening though.
What's the name of the house party
What's her
movie I was
name,
just
Monica?
talking about with Don the other day?
House Party movie.
Yeah, Be Cole in them first movie.
Oh, you and Don B was talking about it the other day.
So Be Cole, I don't remember the name of it, but it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah?
It's hilarious. Then they got another movie that they shot on the low end. It's kind of talking about the stories of so you heard of the rap group LEP?
Yeah.
So there was this, they used to have this moniker called the Bogus Boys.
Bogus Boys, yeah, for sure.
So the Bogus Boys was some real cats though.
I know.
They came up out of the Logan. So there's a movie called The Bogus Boys. That's dope too though. And it speaks about that story of who the boy. It ain't no documentary. These motherfuckers made a real cinematic movie about the Bogus Boys. So that was a dope little flick. It might. I think Terrence Tomlinson, Take the City. That might be it. I can't remember the name of it. It might be that though. I don't remember. But it was a dope flick. I like independent local shit, man.
The Miseducation of Sonny Carson.
Yeah, I ain't like that movie.
I ain't even hip to that one.
I know people who grew up with Sonny Carson, though, for real, right? And I know they've been like mentors in my life. So, they got relationships with Sonny Carson. They got relationships with, I can't think of the dude's name, Nas and all them always talk about him. Patty or Caddy.
What's Lawrence? Okay, Samuel L. Jackson or Lawrence Fishburne?
What happened now?
I just want you to pick one. Samuel L. Jackson or Lawrence Fishburne?
Neither. I don't care.
Neither one of them?
Yeah, they don't move me like that.
Neither one. Neither one of them characters do it for you. Wow. I don't know what else.
But I ain't no movie dude like that.
Concerns me now that I don't know what else to ask you after that.
It is what it is. Best scene of any movie in the heat of the night. Sidney Poitier slapped the white out of Saltine less than half a second. That had to be one of the best takes.
One of my favorite movies. You talking about movies that don't have that's not being about like the scenes of this particular scene and all that. One of my favorite movies of all time takes place in the same room the entire movie. It's called 12 Angry Men. You seen it?
Mm-mm.
Old ass movie. I'm talking about like from the 50s or some shit. It's an old ass movie about a jury deliberating on a murder case, and as they enter the jury room, there's this kind of assumption that runs everybody in the room that the defendant is guilty. Right? They're convinced that the defendant is guilty. It's a young boy on trial for killing his father, stabbing him to death. And they listen to the trial, they listen to the case, a couple witnesses, this is yada, 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 a time to kill for sure. Anyway, there's one dude amongst the 12. It's all men, white men. And there's one dude amongst the 12 who's like, wait, I kind of want to talk about it. Because the rest of them was ready to go in there 5 minutes and bounce. Like, guilty, 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 guilty. One dude said, not guilty. And they was like, what? You ain't hear the same case? He's guilty. He's like, maybe he is, but I'm saying if we have to put because it was a mandatory death sentence or something like that. Like, we're going to put the man to death, we should at least talk about it. Spoiler alert, he ends up convincing everybody else to change their mind. But cold movie. So much like little nuance and all the interactions between these different people. You had young, old, insecure. You had all these different types of people in this room. And it made for a really, really dope thing as they kind of went through that process. It's called 12 Angry Men. Watch it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out, man.
Even though it just got 12 white men in it. Sorry.
Yeah. So, but like, we was talking about that miseducation of Sonny Carson. You start thinking about the cats who was coming up out of New York during that era. Like, you got the, I can't think of this dude's name, the dude who was on Time Magazine for selling dope. Whatever his name was, but it was a cat that came up with them in that circle named Azim Ramales.
Mm-hmm.
And Azim was rolling around with Sonny Carson for sure.
American Me is a good one. Blow.
And in his experience with Sonny Carson, he got shot in the back and became crippled. You know what I mean? Couldn't have a paraplegic, didn't have use of his legs anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Spent, a couple years in the hospital trying to figure out just to get stabilized.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Decided while he was in the hospital that he didn't want to be in the streets no more.
Nicky Barnes is who you refer
Nicky
to.
Barnes, yeah. So he decided
Appreciate
he
you,
didn't want to
Brandon.
be in the streets no more. Took his education and ended up going to Cornell Law School. Ended up becoming a Chicago attorney, and then turned into he had some kind of elected position in Chicago. I can't remember what it was at this time.
Hip.
You know, but it was a real cool, I got his information, man. We should call him and talk to him one day, have him on the air one day. Because he's in Miami now. He's like the district attorney in Miami, but he legitimately arms is this goddamn big.
Zelda Blanco.
Because he's a paraplegic and he won't use a wheelchair. He uses the crutches thing, but he legitimately cannot use his legs, right? But he balancing himself on the damn things. You know what I mean?
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
but
bananas.
Real good guy, you know, led me to a lot of business opportunities in the city of Chicago. Still got a relationship with him to the day, but he's directly about that Sonny Carson camp.
I like American Gangster. I like anything pretty much that Malcolm X. I mean, shit. I'm looking at Salim talking about Professor X, and I'm talking about Denzel
somebody
Washington.
else just said that in the thing. Salim, I didn't know that. That was news to me. That's all news to me.
Yeah, y'all definitely hijacked the show. We went down a whole rabbit hole for like the last 2 minutes just about top five. But it works. It's part of the culture. We cool with it. We got to get up out of here, though. Y'all make sure y'all get up early tomorrow for the Maze Jackson Show. If you have not already done so, please go to Maze Jackson's personal Facebook or Instagram page. Send him a private message that merely says, "Man Crush Maze."
Man Crush Maze.
Get up with him and watch the show. Put it in his comments. Man Crush Maze. Man Crush Maze. Man Crush Maze. We will be back here tomorrow, same time, same place at 3 p.m. Thank y'all so very, very much for tuning into the show. We greatly, greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all. For Tucson Warner, my name is Herb Howard. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Till then, be good to each other. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.
WIFTBPM.